I think we are live. Hello.
Are we live yet?
हाँ we are
We are
live.
live. Okay. Let me check myself. कुछ कुछ कमेंट ऑलरेडी आ गया है. अरे ऐड आ रहा है, क्या बात है.
हाँ
ये हुई ना बात. क्या.
पैसे.
ओके. एक मिनट. ठीक है. नमस्कार गांव वालों, एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत है हमारे YouTube लाइव में. I hope you can hear me properly. Before we proceed, let me know if the sound is clear and if it is loud enough. Just show me a thumbs up in the chat. जो लोग हैं ऑलरेडी चैट में. यस. काफी श्रद्धालु ऑलरेडी आ चुके हैं. लेट्स सी क्या लिखा है कमेंट्स में लोगों ने. शुभ आरंभ किया है धनंजय ने. इधर यू डाई अ हीरो और यू लिव लॉन्ग इनफ टू बिकम कंटेंट क्रिएटर. आई थिंक ये लाइन तो बहुत बार सुनना पड़ेगा मुझे भी, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज कंटेंट नाउअडेज. ऑब्वियसली तन्मय भट्ट साहब तो अभी भगवान बन चुके हैं कंटेंट की दुनिया में. हाँ वो तो है. दिस इज नॉट लाइक व्हाट ही डज, ऑल्दो टू बी फ्रैंक आई हैव नॉट सीन व्हाट ही डज, but it's an excuse to connect with people. I know people like these Q&A sessions and I try to avoid them because अपने को गुरुजी नहीं बनना है, पर समाज बना ही देता है. और क्या. वैभव येडके साहब परत आले आहे. नमस्कार साहेब. प्रणाम आचार्य जी. सेइंग आपके पास आए हैं समाज से भाग. और प्रतीक्षा न कराए. ये थोड़ा मुश्किल है. ये एक और होमवर्क आ गया हमारे लाइफ में ये सब करने का, बट आई थिंक थोड़ा रेगुलरली करना है हमको भी, ताकि लोग जुड़ पाए. और बिफोर वी बिगिन यू शुड ऑल थैंक अवर देसी जेमी हु इज ऑन द लाइन विद अस, बिकॉज़ ही इज मेड दिस लाइव हैपन. बाकी हम तो नहीं करने वाले थे. क्योंकि जेमी के पास बहुत सारे मीम्स पड़े हैं डैंक वाले, तो ही वांट्स टू शेयर द हैप्पीनेस और लैक ऑफ इट विद द वर्ल्ड. तो हियर वी आर डूइंग राइट विंग मीम्स पार्ट 2. राज शाह बोल रहे लेजेंड गोस इफ यू लुक इन द मिरर एंड से आई एम मिडिल क्लास 3 times, पुनीत अपीयर्स बिहाइंड. ये काफी हार्ड था ये तो. आपने देखा बीच में एक और आया था मिडिल क्लास की पोइट्री को लड़की ने की है, बहुत ही घटिया सी. एंड वाज शेयर्ड बाय अ IAS ऑफिसर who also think that he is middle class. यानी क्या ही कहें अभी. Prachi is here. Hi Prachi, I hope you're doing well. Prasad is saying pranam. Ashish is here. Did I miss this? नहीं, you're here in time. You're not missing much not watching तन्मय. यार वो पता नहीं, जो भी है वो यंग ऑडियंस के लिए है. तो हम तो even when I was in college I was not young. I feel I was already middle-aged man at that time. Was a viewer reply by government on corona vaccine deaths. सतीश वो तो डिनाई ही करते हैं, बट अभी कुछ नया आया है पेपर में तो आई एम नॉट अवेयर. इफ यू कैन शेयर द हेडलाइन एटलीस्ट, इफ नॉट द लिंक, I'll look it up right away. Ravi steps down and we are doing right wing memes. Did Ravi step down like formally? बग्गा जी बोले शुरू करो. कर रहे हैं. So just waiting for people to join in. Also, before we begin, if I can request people who are here already, if you not like the stream already, please do so. It reaches more people. Always helps. कितने लोग देख रहे हैं वैसे फिलहाल अंदाजन?
17-20 है.
28. चलो, not bad. That's how cults start. No, we need 20 people at least.
पब्लिक पूछ रहा है आपके स्पेशल के बारे में.
I wanted to sort of give an update to people because a lot of people asked me like comics and other people also well wishers. Uh, I'm glad to inform you that it went great, like better than I would have dreamt. Every line landed. In fact, ये जो शो है नो कंट्री, आप में से कुछ लोगों ने देखा भी है लाइव. It's a 90-minute show. If I do it line by line, no extra fluff. As you know, my content has no trans fats, तो जल्दी खत्म हो जाता है. जल्दी तो यानी क्या, जो है वही उतना ही लाइन हम बोलते हैं. 90 मिनट का it is went to over 120 minutes because the extra 30 minutes was just applause and ovation. That's how great it went. Like I was in a different zone. In fact, I knew कि लेट हो रहा है, but घड़ी देखने का भी टाइम था नहीं because I was in such a flow that I didn't even want to break it by looking at the wristwatch. So it went great. And now the more difficult part is editing. I'm hoping I'll do it in like 2 months, but sometimes it takes longer also. So till that time, I will be touring with the show. So if it is in your city, it might probably be the last time I'm doing this show. In fact, I'm doing it in Gurgaon this Saturday, then Hyderabad next weekend, Mumbai after that, and Bangalore again after that. So these are the 4 cities I'm doing in December. The link is in the description of this live itself. So do look it up if you're in any one of these cities. Jan, I'm not sure yet. Might have to take a break to edit this thing. But December, I'm touring for sure. So Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Bangalore, 4 major cities. Also, one show in Pune next week, in the middle of the week, one night only. I'll share the link soon. And I'll probably be doing new material on that night in Pune. That is next Thursday at Gastro Bar in Koregaon Park. So also for people who are remote and introverts, like the people watching live streams, there is an online show this Friday. And that show is gainfully employed. It is at कितने बजे है Jimmy? 8:30 बजे.
हाँ.
8:30 this Friday. You can join in from anywhere in the world, including POK. And we'll do a Q&A there too. But of course, that is face-to-face, so that's a little different. Lavish has resigned. I think he was on a break already. So उनको पहले से तो ऊपर से आ ही गया होगा दिक्कत. वर्कशॉप्स नहीं चैतन्य, वर्कशॉप्स नहीं. आई थिंक जो भी थोड़ा बहुत ज्ञान है वो ऐसे ही बांट देना चाहिए. तो ये कर रहे हैं, यही एक तरीके से वर्कशॉप है. बट आई एम अज्यूमिंग चैतन्य आप स्टैंड अप की बात कर रहे हो कि राइटिंग की बात कर रहे हो. बरुआ साहब बोले, डू वी गेट टू मीट यू? या श्योर, बट विच सिटी आर यू इन बरुआ साहब? Most shows I do. Only that was the thing I put out in the post. I couldn't meet people after my show in Bangalore. I usually do. But because there was another show planned, and then you know the booking time ran out of the auditorium. So, but usually any show I try to meet people because why not? कोई साक्षात खड़ा है सामने तो आपको हाय बोलने में क्या दिक्कत है? I know people who meet the audience despite there being hundreds of them. Like no, I'm at a stage where I can meet everybody because जितने कम ही टिकट बिकते हैं, to be honest. But Munawar, for example, अगर 800 लोग आए हैं वो सबको मिलता है, तो he books the auditorium for twice the time just to take photos with the audience. Even Harsh Gujral does it, of all people. तो और उसकी भी काफी बिकती हैं, 200-300 तो कम से कम बिकती हैं. तो बट ही मीट्स एवरीबॉडी एंड आई एम श्योर ही मस्ट बी एग्जॉस्टेड. समटाइम्स वो 2-3 शो करता है फिर भी वो लोगों को मिलता है. सो I think it's a good practice to do it as far as possible. Beyond the point, you know, where you reach celebrity status, फिर थोड़ा मुश्किल है, you know, because you don't know the kind of people who are coming and they just want to fucking touch you. So for someone like, I don't know, Kanan or someone might be difficult. But हम करते हैं as far as possible. प्रशांत पूछ रहे हैं आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया कब आ रहे हो? तो यार एक प्लान था हमारा, जस्ट कोविड के टाइम पे कैंसिल हो गया, उसके बाद हो ही नहीं पाया. But I will go when I'm sure I can pull good numbers, no, because to justify the cost that the producer will incur to, you know, fly you over and you stay there for a few weeks. तो फिलहाल तो नहीं, थोड़ा नंबर बढ़ने चाहिए तभी कर पाएंगे. और રાજ સિંહ 100 કેનેડામાં પણ કરો. અરે કરીશું કેનેડામાં પણ યુકે બધે કરીશું પણ થોડા નંબરો આવે છે ને લોકો નહીં આવે હમણાં જ કરીશું. ऑलराइट हेश ABCD से शुरू करो. ठीक है, वेरी गुड. आई थिंक जेमी लेट्स डू इट.
मैं वो कोहोस्ट बनाऊं.
तो लेट्स स्टार्ट with the thumbnail of this live session. Can we do that?
हाँ हाँ.
Let's do that.
कोहोस्ट बनाना.
So for people who joined for the first time, this is right wing memes. React review तो क्या ही बोलेंगे, क्या review करना है किसी को. But I believe there's humor on all sides, and it just there is some value in looking it up just to stay informed, if nothing else. And as a proponent of humor, the ideal state of the world is where you can say anything at all as long as you're not hurting somebody physically. So then that same logic should apply to whatever side is there in the spectrum. Hence right wing meme reacts. Last time भी हम काफी ये तो काफी हार्ड मीम्स थे. इस बार इसीलिए कर रहे क्योंकि और कुछ मीम्स रह गए थे, क्योंकि जो हमारे जेमी है इस पॉडकास्ट पे जिसको हम दिखा नहीं सकते फॉर सिक्योरिटी रीजंस, उनके पास बहुत टू यूज अ मीम इटसेल्फ काफी माल जमा के रखा है आपने जेमी. क्या हो गया, लोग मैसेज रिट्रैक्ट क्यों कर रहे हैं भाई? बोल दो, कुछ भी बोल दो, क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है. वर्ल्ड इज एंडिंग एनीवे. मुंबई डूबने वाला है कुछ सालों में, तो बोल दो जो बोलना है. प्रीतम साहब पूछ रहे कलकत्ता. यार कलकत्ता मेरे पैसे डूब गए लास्ट टाइम, तो अभी अगली बार थोड़ा सोच समझ के आना पड़ेगा. प्रॉब्लम इज कोलकाता डिस्टेंस है और फ्लाइट्स आर वेरी एक्सपेंसिव एंड देयर इज नो सिटी क्लोज बाय वेयर आई कैन डू वन मोर शो टू जस्टिफाई द ट्रिप का एक्सपेंडिचर. तो हमने किए 2-3 शो किए लास्ट ईयर. went well but like not encouraging enough to come again. I think कलकत्ता में लोग बात बहुत करते हैं, आते नहीं है, वो सब सुस्त लोग हैं. तो थोड़ा प्लानिंग के साथ आए. अगले साल एक बार तो जरूर आएंगे, पर कभी आएंगे आई एम नॉट श्योर. चैतन्य साहब म्हणता लव योर ब्लॉग्स. धन्यवाद साहब. आई एम डाइंग टू राइट वन बट अभी स्पेस नहीं है और टाइम भी कम है. बट बाय जैन डेफिनेटली वन मोर ब्लॉग. आई have an idea that has been eating me up inside, but once it reaches a level of maturity when it is just bursting wanting to come out, I'll write it that time. Satvik Pandey, hi, I just saw zombie virus in the trending section and I ignored it क्योंकि हर कुछ वीक में नया आता है वायरस, फिर कुछ होता नहीं है, तो पता नहीं. एक तो नाम ऐसा रखते हैं. Sometimes I feel even the science websites and news websites have become so clickbaity that you don't know what to believe anymore. Can there is divide comedy circle right wing? Suresh, I assume you're asking कि comedy में right left है क्या? इतना right का कम है लोग, लेकिन धीरे धीरे आएंगे. मार्केट तो बढ़ी रहे.
बोल रहा हूँ मेरे को कोहोस्ट बना दो ना.
तुमने शेयर किया क्या लिंक को? सॉरी मैं देख नहीं रहा हूँ. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट मीम. सीरीज करते हैं.
कोहोस्ट बनाओ ना. कोहोस्ट बनाओ. कोहोस्ट.
अच्छा हाँ ओके. कोहोस्ट. अपना गेस्ट आ रहा है क्या?
पता नहीं, भेजा नहीं.
भेजा है.
भेजू क्या?
भेजा है कि नहीं?
नहीं भेजा, भेजना है.
लेट मी चेक क्या बोल रहा है. भेज के रखो. इफ इज फ्री ही विल कम.
ठीक है. Okay.
All right, let's start with the first meme, which is the thumbnail of this live itself. It is a great meme because it's I don't know if you can even call it right wing meme. It's like it's just funny, no, the way he said it in Parliament. I think this was when the Article 370 was being retracted from Parliament, and Mr. Shah said कि हम जान दे देंगे इसके लिए. ग्रेट यार, इमोशन ऑलवेज वर्क्स. ये रहा. For those of you who are not aware, the reference is to my army video, which still gets shared quite a bit. सर्किट ट्रेनिंग तो करना चाहिए लोगों को एक बार तो. देशमुख साहब मतलब attended show last Saturday in Bangalore. क्या बात है? अरे हाँ, yeah. धीरज, come next time in Bangalore. So you saw No Country. There are two other shows और वो हो रहे हैं बैंगलोर में दिसंबर में. तो if you're free on the Christmas weekend, you can come on either Friday or Sunday at the different shows. If you come for it, sure, it'll be great to say hi. भौंको मगर जोर से, ये क्या बात हुई? अच्छा, ओके. इमोशनल हो गया सफेद कपड़ा. यार वो भी बहुत फनी है, ए सफेद कपड़ा. इज दैट फनी? और आई थिंक दैट वन इज फनीयर कि सज्जन को क्या तकलीफ है. ऑलराइट, लेट्स स्टार्ट शिरीष.
Okay.
बताओ क्या है आज के खजाने में.
Just 1 second. First meme of the day.
यार ये थोड़ा बेसिक हो गया बट ठीक है. We discussed this last time was that polygamy actually is more common among other communities, but sure, stereotypes. In the movie Up in the Air, he says stereotypes save time, hence they'll always be in use. Oh fuck, मुझे दिख रहा है क्या क्या मीम्स आने वाले हैं. आज तो बहुत भारी होने वाला है सेशन. All right, let's do the next one. Modi ji, OG meme maker. So the thing is that dude, he's everywhere, right? So eventually the memes that are made are proportional to the amount of media that one person has occupied. A lot of times you hear right wing people say कि ये इसका गलती नहीं था, हर बात में आप यही बोलते हो. But then the thing is that if the guy takes all the credit, he will also get all the blame. It's part of the package. So a lot of times there are state governments involved in some things like petrol price, for example, was not going down because state governments, in some examples, were not putting the price down, but everybody kept blaming Modi ji. So yeah, if you're everywhere, then you get all the blame also, and you get all the memes also. All right, second meme, Bol Jai Shri Ram. This is not a burqa. The burqa debate is still on. I think the girls have been allowed to wear the hijab as such in the Karnataka case. So I don't know. Azim had a great joke on it, but उसको भी कितना संभाल के बोलना पड़ा. Is the topic is such. But there are so many Batman का कुछ यार respect नहीं बचा बेचारे का ना. No respect for him. If at all, Joker gets all the respect. I have read this in multiple places that the full burqa was not a practice in India till 20-30 years back. It's more of a Saudi hardcore Arab thing. And because Indian Muslims follow the Arab countries, वहां से फिर यहाँ पे impact होता है. Could be. Because obviously that country is officially theocracy, like religion is rules. So they are more hardcore in all things. And then people who are religious obviously aspire to that kind of world. Imagine if there was another country which was Hindu outside India. Nepal was their country for the longest time. And if they had very strict laws based on religion, even people who are religious here would look up to that country and follow what that country is doing. So there's always more to a debate than you see in the headlines. And either you read deep into it, or I think you don't share your opinion unless you want to get traction. If you want to get traction, then nothing like putting out a half-baked opinion and dropping the right name. You'll get hate also, but then it is all engagement in today's world. Have you watched the Joker? Did you like it? Dysfunctional पूछ रहे हैं. यार जोकर कौन सा बोल रहे हो आप?
2019 वाला बोल रहा होगा.
हाँ, that I saw in the theater, and I saw it with a friend who I knew would be able to take it, but otherwise it was like, I remember coming home in the train and I was just zoned out. Like I was numb for a while. That movie really is very impactful. There's something about it, and it caused a lot of debate. So sab bola incel, but it touched the nerve somewhere, no? And of course, great fucking acting, dude. Like in order to follow up on Heath Slater, that guy is a legend, no? Phoenix. If you see his interviews, have you seen his speech, dude? Oscar acceptance, beautiful speech, and he covered so many topics in like 3 or 4 minutes. If you've not seen it, look it up. Is amazing. And this is a guy who was out for 10, 12 years, like just wasted doing nothing. Then he came back, and it's just great to see. NDTV situation, Preetham sir. We'll get around to it. So people who are new, uh, the format is we'll react to some memes, and then second half we'll go to the Q&A where we'll discuss anything which is legally permissible in the country. So if you could please hold on to that topic now that even I just discovered that Ravi Shah ab nahi rahe NDTV pe, which was expected. So we'll come around to it for sure. All right, next meme. Uh, uh, I'm singing a song. यार एक इतना आसान है एक टोपी पहना देने का मस्त खत्म. Do any of you like have this problem, for lack of a better word, that it gets noisy in your neighborhoods? Like I think हमारे यहाँ पे अरे होता है तो अभी नहीं आ रहा है. Maybe they reduced the volume because what I remember was when Raj Thakre had given an ultimatum a few weeks back, no, a few months back, no, ki by this date, if you do not turn off the volumes, we will start blaring Hanuman Chalisa from all the temples. And there's an auntie who comes to the gym, or used to at that time. She was so scared. She was asking the trainer, आपको क्या लगता है ये 27 तारीख बोला है कुछ लफड़ा होगा ना, हम लोग सोच रहे कहीं पे निकल जाए. And she was asking so innocently. It was kind of sad because ये जो भी होता है हल्ला वो सब छोटे मोहल्लों में होता है ना, बिल्डिंग वाले तो बच जाते हैं more or less. But it is the ghettos where people stay closer together where all the carnage happens. So I don't know. People say कि even in Arabic countries इतना नहीं होता है स्पीकर पे, जब यहीं पे होता है. Now I don't know who to listen to anymore. I don't know. If I guess if it was next to my home, it might be an irritation. But if I'm listening from a distance, it just sounds nice only. Somebody singing praises to God. But then ये भी एक हमने सुना है कि if you listen to it closely, they are announcing that our God is the only God and every other God is not true. And they say it's a clarion call to jihad again. So all very serious stuff. The meme is still funny though. All right, next one. Feminist. I carry my mother's last name. Me. So your grandfather's.
ऊनो रिवर्स हो गया. ऊनो रिवर्स हो गया.
ऊनो रिवर्स. But recently, couple of years back, this was in the news ki Modi government has, in a landmark decision, allowed people to use their mother's name in the passport or something like that. But then turns out कि वो rule already था ये country में. तो but ठीक है, credit लेने में क्या ही जाता है. There are many things which are rather considerate in this country compared to the West. No? But then, I mean, you can't win in everything. Recently, one of our family members is nearly 90 years old and the pension is still on. So what happens is, if you have to continue to receive pension from the government once in the year, you have to submit a live certificate, which means that you are still alive. Now, it might sound rude, but dude, if you don't check, then people will keep collecting. No, But even in this rule, if the person dies in the first month, you can continue collecting for 11 months before they realize कि आदमी अभी नहीं है. But anyway, ये सिस्टम है. तो जो बैंक से आपका आता है, जो बैंक के अकाउंट में आपका पेंशन आता है, you have to go there physically and sign saying भाई मैं ही है, मैं जिंदा है, हाँ तेजा में ही है types. But for older people, the banks have this facility where the bank people come to your house. Like two people come to verify, and they take a signature at home. And if the patient is like infirm and not able to even sign properly, they take a thumb impression. So now I'm glad to inform you that our relative has enjoyed more years of pension than actual service. But then I can't imagine this happening in the West. वहां पे मैन पावर ही नहीं है ये सब करने के लिए. But this is a this is a very good meme. It's quite funny. All right, next. Gave my son the wrong backpack. Hey, this is Reddit, right? Reddit से है ना Reddit.
हाँ.
ये तो अलग ही दुनिया है. And every Muslim comic I've seen in India, वो पहले they start with the same joke, no bomb वाला joke. And it's fun because a Muslim guy doing it, but अभी ये हो चुका, कुछ नया करना पड़ेगा अभी. Okay, let's just go through the comments. क्या चल रहा है? क्या हो गया? कोई झगड़ रहा है क्या कमेंट में भाई साहब? Being a Muslim, how should I criticize Islamic ideas without adding to bigotry? Okay. System is asking, Pania ji, could you tell us toppest and lowest moments in your life? Would love to hear them as I need some motivation from a smart, intelligent Baba. System, if you could park that question, and if you're still around after we're done with the memes, if you could just copy paste it again and we'll get to it. It's a good question. I'd like to answer it. Shabnoor कह रहे हैं कि problem is it is supposed to beautifully sang called prayer. Okay. The meaning should be understood. It's damn beautiful in Arab countries. Okay. We already read what Zaid is saying. In Marathi, they made a very beautiful movie about Azan called Bonga. Acha. I shall look it up. Is it a new movie? And if you can tell us what it is about, maybe in a line. Raj is saying Modi and Apple both slapping their names on things done by other people. Okay, Shabnur is saying what I said. Ki it means that our God is the only God. If it is not in the line, then I shall look it up. But this is, like I said, this is what I've read. But I guess I got to look at a direct translation. He's saying we're not even allowed to kill an ant. Right? That's what, less like Jain people almost. Do you know Jain people, the monks, they carry a broom with them because they're supposed to walk bare feet so that they don't trample on even the small organisms. And wherever they see something, at least visible to the naked eye, with the broom, they sweep it aside. It's a beautiful thought, but it's practically तो impossible, especially if you're on social media. आपके पास टाइम नहीं बचेगा ये सब करने के लिए.
हाँ, बट पैर से भी तो ट्रैम्पल हो ही सकता है ना.
हाँ, बट उनके पास माइक्रोस्कोप नहीं था ना, तो उनको पता नहीं था कि और छोटे. But at least they had, I mean, at that time, they had an idea कि अंदर छोटा छोटा भी होता है. No, they do talk about microorganisms also. So that way, a very advanced or rather evolved religion, but practically पता नहीं. Although they are very successful people around the whole world, तो ठीक है ना, खांदा नहीं खाता, कोई बात नहीं. वैसे भी बास मारता है. But do you know, in generally in Hinduism, people who are staunchly following certain practices, they don't have onion garlic anyway because it is supposed to No, increased tamas forces in the body, including sexual desires, apparently. So there you go. GK for you guys. Amisha is also Jay. All right, next meme. When you are lesbian, so you marry Abdullah already has 3. Oh God. I never thought about this, dude. और ये क्या फोटो है एक्चुअली? क्या इज इट अ पोकेमॉन?
Yes.
है ना? What the fuck is a Pokemon anyway? Can you enlighten me? It's a species.
Pokemon is not a species. Pokemon is actually an anime which came out in the 90s.
हाँ.
ठीक है, तो उस एनिमे में कैसा है कि जो प्रोटैगनिस्ट है बेसिकली, मतलब उनके वर्ल्ड में ऐसा है कि देयर आर स्पीशीज कॉल्ड पोकेमॉन्स, ओके, व्हिच यू गैदर एंड कलेक्ट एंड यू यूज देम टू फाइट विद अदर पीपल. ऐसा पोकेमॉन का टूर्नामेंट हो रहा है, लफड़े हुए तो ये ले मेरा पोकेमॉन, सामने वाला था ये ले मेरा पोकेमॉन, फिर वो पोकेमॉन
तो पोकेमॉन का खुद का कुछ फ्री विल नहीं है क्या? कोई उसको कलेक्ट कर सकता है ऐसा?
तो ऐसा है कि सो दे कैप्चर पोकेमॉन इन अ थिंग कॉल्ड एज पोकीबॉल.
Okay, I'm listening.
Pokeball is like the chains which you tie around a slave's neck. तो वो लोग के गले में जो चेन होता है ना, इट्स लाइक दैट. तो एक बार आपने वो नेक पे चेन लगा दिया, पोकेबॉल के अंदर ले लिया, तो देन उसका फ्री विल चले आता है ऐसा.
तो दिस इज अबाउट स्लेवरी एक्चुअली. and ये पोकेमॉन लोग को दे डोंट नीड टू हैव लाइक सेक्स और समथिंग, दे आर एसेक्सुअल स्पीसीज.
हाँ, मतलब बच्चे लोग का कार्टून है तो.
I'm not saying कि दिखाओ, I'm just saying कि हेंटाई नहीं करने का, लेकिन मैं बोल रहा है कि उसमें उनका ऐसा नहीं होता कि माँ बाप बच्चा नहीं होता ऐसा, they are just one of a kind, all the Pokemons.
हाँ, मतलब ऐसा तो ऐसा किधर दिखाया नहीं है, as far as I know.
But if it was in the 90s and all the kids watching they have grown up, so they need to know more, no?
हाँ, तो वो लोग अभी ऐसा अभी भी कितना अभी भी आता है पोकेमॉन, आपको पता है क्या? नया सीजन
पे.
हाँ.
शिट, क्या त्रास है.
तो
I mean, people are
अचीवमेंट ऐसा
अचीवमेंट भी एक तरीके से, यानी क्रिएटिविटी बोलेगा तो.
इन पोकेमॉन यूनिवर्स देयर बीन अ रीसेंट अचीवमेंट कि जो पोकेमॉन का प्रोटैगनिस्ट है, तो उसका जब पहले एपिसोड में उसका एम रहता है कि सबसे बेस्ट मैं ये बनूंगा, पोकेमॉन्स्टर ऐसा. तो फाइनली ही इज एबल टू डू इट नाउ पोस्ट 25-30 इयर्स. अब भी जस्ट एक महीने
25 years. तो people are still hoping that he will do it, कि they're forgotten कि ये भी करने का था.
नहीं, they are hoping, ऐसा कट्टर फैंस है. Oh
God. So main Pokemon is the yellow guy, no? With the tail like a...
No, that's a Pikachu. That's a type of Pokemon.
क्या सीखना पड़ेगा? Pikachu is the main guy, is the hero.
No, Pikachu is the Pokemon of the main guy. ऐसा.
अच्छा, उसका पालतू है वो, या जो भी पालतू बोल सकता है. Is it politically correct to call him पालतू?
Slave is technically correct, but ठीक है,
पालतू. Udit is saying Pokemon is abbreviation for pocket monsters. Okay, pocket monsters makes sense. अब बच्चों के लिए मजा आया, मेरे पॉकेट में मॉन्स्टर है. बेंच सही है. Did you watch all this, Jamie, when you were a kid?
हाँ,
which is like 2 years back.
But then again, I got अच्छे एनिमे दिख गए देखने के लिए, तो ऐसा. तो
एनिमे और कार्टून में फर्क क्या होता है?
एनिमे कुछ ऐसा फर्क नहीं है, बस जस्ट कि एनिमे इज वेरी स्पेसिफिक टू जापानीज मांगा से जो बनता है, बेसिकली जापानीज कॉमिक बुक से जो एनिमेशन होता है उसको एनिमे बोलते हैं ऐसा स्लैंग में.
Okay, so it is a cartoon, right? There's nothing like very different from a cartoon.
हाँ, मतलब बस इसमें एडल्ट टॉपिक्स भी कवर हो जाते हैं ऐसा. रियल दुख, रियल पीड़ा ऐसा सब भी आता है.
But then ये तो रियल नहीं है बिल्कुल भी.
ये नहीं है ना, बाकी और है.
ओके, सात्विक बोल रहे हैं कि विकिपीडिया पेज देखो, आपका दिमाग हिल जाए. And this is for you, Jimmy. ये सात्विक साहब बोल रहे हैं कि जैसे एनिमे सीरीज कॉल्ड वन पीस दैट
हाँ
हैज ओवर 1000 एपिसोड्स एंड काउंटिंग, तो
हाँ
होता क्या
हाँ।
उसके अंदर लेकिन?
अरे उसके अभी मैं प्लॉट क्या ही समझाऊं, बट है, चलता है उसका। तो बेसिकली एनिमे इज मेड फ्रॉम अ थिंग लाइक कॉमिक बुक से बनता है, विच इज कॉल्ड मांगा, विच इज लाइक रियली पॉपुलर इन जापान,
हाँ
राइट? तो
हाँ
उसका अभी जितना वो आर्टिस्ट मांगा बना रहा है, तब तक वो लोग एनिमे बनाते रहता है क्योंकि पैसा आता है ऐसा। तो कैपिटलिज्म उधर भी चलता है एकदम।
हाँ हाँ है, and it is like a sitcom, no? Let's say how Simpsons has been going on for 30 years now almost.
हाँ। नहीं
It's
नहीं
a
बट
sitcom, right? The characters they don't get older; they just keep fucking around all the time.
नहीं, कुछ कुछ में होता है, बट ये जो वन पीस मेंशन किया, इट्स नॉट अ सिटकॉम ऐसा। प्रॉपर ऐसा स्टोरी लाइन वगैरह है उसमें।
Going a little off tangent here, but बहुत लोग फैंस है यार एनिमे का. Guys, get friends, no? Get a life. क्या हो रहा है ये? तुम लोग 1000 एपिसोड देख रहे हैं घर पे बैठ के. डेथ नोट, ये डेथ नोट वो है जो तुमको ऐसा एक ऐसा लेटर आता है फिर तुम मर जाता है, वो है ना डेथ नोट?
लेटर नहीं, बुक रहता है, उसके अंदर किसी का नाम लिखा और इमेजिन किया तो मर जाता है वो ऐसा। तो ऐसा वो अच्छा एनीमे, मतलब आपको देखना चाहिए, यू लाइक इट स्पेसिफिकली।
See, Western civilization, which also includes now Japan and Korea, is all about death. No, it's a culture which is fascinated with death. In a way, they are also avoiding it, not by distractions, but because they avoid it so much, it seeps into their subconscious, and everything they do is kind of like deathly only. No? Because the religion is such. No, Western religions are linear religions. No, there is a beginning and there is going to be an end. No, तो एडम यू हुआ देर और फिर एक कयामत होगी, उसके बाद सबका रिपोर्ट कार्ड निकलेगा. तो देयर इज अ कांस्टेंट फीलिंग ऑफ टाइम रनिंग आउट. नो, तो जितना ऐंठना है ऐंठ लो. But Eastern civilization, which includes us and like no Buddhism wherever is spread, we have a cyclical view of nature. तो हाँ मरने वाला है वो, वापस भी आने वाला है ना, तो वो आराम से करने का बहुत टाइम अपने पास, नो, चिल मारने का. तो ये सब दिस इज ऑल लाइक क्या डेथ नोट के, ठीक है चलो अच्छा होगा. आई मीन आई एम श्योर इट्स ऑल वेरी क्रिएटिव, बट जस्ट डजंट अपील टू मी समहाउ.
वो ऐसा मेरे को भी लगता था, कार्टून है, बट देन अगेन वंस यू गेट इनटू इट हो जाता है।
नारुतो, नारुतो कौन है?
नारुतो इज अनदर एनिमे, मतलब इन सब एनिमेस का वही ट्रोप सेम है, जैसे पोकेमोन, नारुतो, वन पीस, ये ऐसा
I
इस
think we'll have to
टाइप।
do one session on just anime memes where it'll only be you educating me about what the fuck it is. Oh god, Naruto. अच्छा, one punch is that टकला आदमी जो सिर्फ पंच मारता है. He had no
हाँ,
other move.
फनी है, काफी फनी है, काफी फनी।
If he was in wrestling, it would be the most boring thing. No? Just every match same move.
नहीं बट वो उसे फनी वही है ना कि वो एक पंच मार के सबको खत्म कर देता है, बट नो वन एक्नॉलेजेस हिम एज द ग्रेटेस्ट, लाइक ही इज द मोस्ट ओवर पावर्ड मेन कैरेक्टर, बट नोबडी
हाँ, he's
एक्नॉलेजेस।
overpowered, no? But then फिर ठीक है, फिर भी स्टोरी है कुछ ना कुछ.
हाँ।
लड़की होगी और क्या.
नहीं नहीं, लड़की नहीं।
जिमी जरा पढ़िए लास्ट कमेंट, सात्विक पांडे साहब क्या बोले. फिनिश वॉचिंग 1000 एपिसोड, पढ़ो जरा.
And contemplated life after that. And one of the thoughts was I should actually get some friends and fresh air. तो ऐसा एक साथ भी देखने का ना, हल्लू हल्लू देखने का ऐसा, एक हफ्ते में एक एपिसोड आता है ऐसा देखो।
अरे गैंडल्फ साहब बोल रहे स्टाइन्स गेट इज अ ग्रेट. कितना है, कौन बना रहा है ये, कौन देख रहा है? अटैक ऑफ टाइटन हमने सुना है.
हाँ, वो तो मैं भी आपको रेकमेंड किया था।
देयर इज अ फिलोसफी बिहाइंड वन पंच. अच्छा, तो
नहीं,
अगर
कुछ
ये
ऐसा
सब
कुछ फिलोसॉफी नहीं है वन पंच मैन के पीछे, कुछ ऐसा नहीं।
और क्या लिखा है? ओके, लाइफ इज कॉम्प्लिकेटेड क्यों लिख रहे हैं सनी साहब? शबनूर साहब ने लिखा है कि टू मैरी अ वुमन इज अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. टुडे मैन इज नॉट इनफ टू हैंडल इवन वन वुमन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, बट टू डिजायर एंड यूज वुमेन एवरीवन इज रेडी. That's a very good point. All right, next meme.
पब्लिक डिमांड में।
Array, Hafiz. How does it taste, Gabriel? But my name is Gopal, not anymore. We had discussed this at length last time about conversions, and recently, I think just yesterday, एंटी कन्वर्जन लॉ और एक कोई स्टेट में आ रहा है, ऐसा कुछ है. आई थिंक कर्नाटक में ऑलरेडी आ चुका है कि आने वाला है. तो इन द कोर्ट गवर्नमेंट हैज सेड कि फ्रीडम टू प्रैक्टिस रिलीजन is there in the country, but that does not mean that you force your religion on other people and you also trick them into it, or no, whatever, make some scam and get people to follow your religion. But now the thing is, who will decide? No, you keep hearing of these cases in Karnataka, especially, where some father के ऊपर FIR हो गया because वो मीटिंग कर रहा था. Now, how do you know कि it was a normal prayer meeting? कि it was, क्योंकि you just read the headlines, and I had been told, like, by people who follow my work and all, even in Bangalore, they are scared to send their parents to the church कि पता नहीं कहाँ पे अटैक हो जाएगा बजरंग दल का वगैरह वगैरह. तो this is this is also a topic which needs like a deeper discussion, but it is meme is funny for sure. So this is like a call center thing, no? Like, even in call centers, you would assume a English first name. It's kind of like that only. But in the end, if they're paying you and if you're getting fed, then fucking call me whatever you want. No, you need to have a full stomach first. राज भी वही बोल रहे हैं, भूख पहले रिलीजन बाद में. बिल्कुल सही. ऑल राइट, नेक्स्ट. ये क्या अब्दुल ओरिजिनल, ये मीम पेज है ये? Right. Just to check with you guys in the chat, you can hear me properly, right? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Also, people who joined in right now, if you like the stream, do like it so that we can reach more people. This is a new channel that I'm starting, and we plan to do lives more regularly, but we need to reach more people. So if you can, please do hit the like button. If you have friends who like my work or who like long format content, do share it with them. Also, the link will be around for some time, so you can watch it later also. All right, next one. Bada, हाँ. Me and my boys going to Ayodhya to see Bhumi Pujan. ये कितना आसान हो गया ना, बस ऑरेंज डाल देने का हो गया, टोपी डाल देने का हो गया.
लेकिन वो सीन भी बहुत एप्ट है ना, एक हाथ में बंदूक है, दूसरे में नारियल है.
बट ओरिजिनल मूवी में भी नारियल ही है क्या हाथ में उसके?
हाँ, शायद पत्थर है वो, नॉट नारियल.
बाइक पे भी झंडा डाल दिया है. करके तो दिखाया भाई ने, था उसके मैनिफेस्टो में मंदिर बन रहा है. वेरी गुड. I hope that's the end of the chapter, but it is not. No, अभी नया next पे they already reached काशी and मथुरा. तो memes तो आते ही रहेंगे, कुछ नहीं तो. Have you seen that meme, Shirish, कि पीछे है ना न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब फट रहा है ऐसा, ठीक है, लाइक मशरूम क्लाउड जा रहा है, और यहाँ पे एक कपल है ना, वो सेल्फी ले रहा है, एंड द स्किन इज मेल्टिंग एज टेकिंग द सेल्फी.
अरे अरे,
ये बहुत हार्ड हो गया. चलो ठीक है, नेक्स्ट वन.
नहीं, मशरूम क्लाउड का मीम है आपके आज?
अच्छा, आज भी है. चलो, ओके, नेक्स्ट. I remember this one. No, because remember hydroxychloroquine for a short time was believed to cure corona, and we had, because we have all medicines. No, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेसिटी बहुत अपने पास, रिसर्च नहीं है, बट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉपी बहुत करता है अपन मस्त. तो वी हैड हाइड्रोक्सीक्लोरोक्विन, but then it turned out to be, I don't know, I don't think it was really proven to cure corona, but at that time it was like a diplomatic leverage point. I am not able to do it. Shirish, can you explain what this meme means to people who are not aware of the reference?
This is Savita Babi comic.
Savita Babi, no?
Yeah.
क्या चल रहा है कमेंट्स में? पेट्रोल वहीं भरवाएंगे. Okay, Mahesh is saying last month you did live satsang with Mehta. It was so thought provoking. Can we have a link of that? अरे नहीं, वो उसमें कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. There was a lot of over talking happening with one of our audience members, इसलिए हमने हटा दिया फिर. Because I know some very good points were made. Mehta was there, Baba was there, बट फिर उसमें कुछ सुना ही नहीं दे रहा है, एंड पीपल वर ज्वाइनिंग इन लेटर, उनको तो कुछ भी नहीं समझ आता क्योंकि देयर वर लॉट ऑफ ओवर टॉकिंग गोइंग ऑन। तो करेंगे फिर से, मेहता को मैं बुलाने वाला हूँ इस स्ट्रीम पे। शुभम चव्हाण साहेब म्हणता है सर मी 36 मैं बनो। आई सॉरी, आई एम नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज सेइंग। ओके, येडके साहेब यांनी मीम शेअर केले आहे डीएम मध्ये, शिरीष बघा चलताय कॉमेडी अकाउंट मध्ये। प्रसाद मुर्वे सविता भाभी एनीमे। ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट वन। डीएम भी देखो तब तक क्या भेजा है। यूएस आर्मी रेस्क्यूज 47 सेक्स स्लेव्स फ्रॉम द बहुत बहुत हार्ड ये तो। I mean, no matter what side you're on, it is funny. It's but is there tourism in Afghanistan? Not yet, no?
tourism.
I'm asking because it struck me recently कि म्यांमार में यानी बर्मा में इतना वो हो गया ना, पूरा कू हो गया, मिलिट्री हैज टेकन ओवर ना, और बहुत वहां पे अफरा तफरी हुआ, लोग प्रोटेस्ट किया, मारा उनको, और वो जो उनकी थी प्रेसिडेंट उसको डाल दिया जेल में, उसको नोबेल प्राइज मिला था जिसको, वो ना जो यहाँ पे फूल रखती थी, वो उसका नाम भूल गया। एनीवे शी ओवरसॉ जिनोसाइड ऑफ रोहिंग्यास देयर, तो अभी किसी को क्या ही बोलेंगे। बट अभी वहां पे नहीं, सॉरी आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट वियतनाम, सॉरी माय बैड माय बैड। वियतनाम में टूरिज्म तो चल रहा है ना अभी भी, देखा अपना ही लोग जा रहे हैं वहां पे, भांगड़ा भांगड़ा कर रहे हैं, और वहां पे डिक्टेटरशिप भी है, तो सही है ना, बिजनेस भी चलता है साथ साथ में। आई थिंक तालिबान शुड डू रिक्रिएशनल टूरिज्म, लोग आएगा। ओनली वन में टूरिज्म इज अलाउड, घंटा बोल रहे हैं। अच्छा, आंग सान सूची, यही नाम था क्या उसका? तुम लोग कुछ भी नाम बना रहे खुद से। आंग सूकी, ओके, ऐसा ही कुछ था, ओके। खूप छान मराठी बोलता पन्या साहेब तुम्ही, धन्यवाद धन्यवाद धन्यवाद। मराठी आमची मदर टंग नाही, पण आले पाहिजे ना। जय महाराष्ट्र। What is, Shubham is asking what is worse, engineering or death sentence? Depends, no, engineering के बाद कर लो MBA, फिर ठीक ही है आई गेस। हमारे साथ बैठे साथ में ये भी है प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर, पता है आपको। तालिबान बोले कुछ दिन तो बिताओ केव में। ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट वन। क्या करे, वापस चले जाए। साउथ दिल्ली की प्रिया को हार्ट ब्रेकिंग सा लग रहा है। So this is when Taliban took over as soon as US left, no, which was such a, I mean, it just seems such a mockery, no, they left and they just took over, and yeah, it was heartbreaking for a lot of people, but then obviously they're not going to listen. पता है ये जोक बहुत हो चुका है, स्टैंड अप में मैंने सुना है ऐसा कि चेंबूर की प्रिया को ऐसा लगता है, सोबो के अंकित को ऐसा लगता है। इट इज फनी एक दो बार, पर आप देन दिस इज फनी बिकॉज द इमेज, नो। क्या करे, नौकरी छोड़ दे।
ये आई थिंक ये इसके लिए लगा गया था बिकॉज एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम अपने इंडिया में भी कुछ क्रेजी स्टफ हो रहा था, तो पीपल वर डायरेक्टिंग ऑल ऑफ द अटेंशन टू। क्या क्या हुआ था? कुछ तो हो रहा था अपने इंडिया में, उसको छोड़ के लोग इस पे ध्यान दे देते।
दिस इज ऑलवेज द केस, नो, लाइक प्रियंका चोपड़ा कमेंटिंग ऑन ब्लैक लाइव्स मैटर। ये मस्त था। नेक्स्ट। अरे यार क्या क्या देखना पड़ रहा है।
पढ़ो तो सही।
अरे राइट विंग मीम तो नहीं है ये तो, क्योंकि ऐसे ही अंकल है जो व्हाट्सएप फॉरवर्ड करते हैं वैसे। विपुल का जोक है ना, पता है इसके ऊपर शिरीष?
क्या?
स्लीवलेस
हाँ,
आई
ये
थिंक
है
he
यूट्यूब
released
पे,
that.
बोल सकते
He
हो।
released that on YouTube
या
ना?
हाँ हाँ।
बहुत बहुत बढ़िया सेट है। लॉन्ग लिव पेट्रियार्की। ओके, शुभंकर ने भी डीएम किया है,
अपन
चलता है। ओके
इन सब की मीम एक बार एंड में करते।
ओके ओके, नेक्स्ट। Met a girl online and I got a huge crush on her. She had on her bio, "Can someone tell me which country she's from?" यार ये मेड अप है यार, ये काटेगिस्तान। I'm sure many right wing guys also put a rainbow in their bio. I mean, why is worth a try? काटेगिस्तान। आवाज आ रहा है इतना दूर से भी? वॉइस इज ओके?
पीछे लेटा मत करो, उसमें थोड़ा सा कम आ रहा है।
कम आ रहा है? ओके,
हाँ,
ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट।
दिस वन इज काफी पब्लिक डिमांड में, नेक्स्ट वाला हमने
पब्लिक
उठाया।
डिमांड पे, अच्छा।
काफी पब्लिक डिमांड।
हाँ, ब्रो तू बियर बाइसेप नहीं देखता क्या? ये कौन कौन किसको बोल रहा है लेकिन ये?
मोदी जी सेइंग टू द किड, या फिर एनीवेज वर्क्स, दोनों फनी।
ओके, दिस इज नॉट अवर मीम प्लीज, जो भी देख रहा है इसको। बट बच्चा खुश दिख रहा है वैसे।
हाँ।
ब्रो टू बियर बाइसेप नहीं देख, बट इसने कुछ चेंज किया ना, ओरिजिनल क्या होगा इसके ऊपर? ब्रो टू नहीं देखता,
वो दैट मस्ट जस्ट बी अ टेम्पलेट।
और
नहीं,
टेम्पलेट है।
टेम्पलेट तो नहीं हो सकता, बिकॉज नीचे मूठ मारना
तो ये
लिखा है।
कौन सा स्कूल है जिसमें दो चोटी भी है साथ में और लैपटॉप भी है? दे डोंट गो टुगेदर। क्योंकि तेल लगाना कंपलसरी गरीब स्कूल में होता है सिर्फ ना, अमीर बच्चे तो स्टाइल मार के आते हैं आजकल।
हाँ।
हाँ, पर ठीक है, मोदी जी गए तो स्कूल चमका दिया होगा ना ओवरनाइट।
यस।
जैसे वो मोरबी गए थे, देखा था कि वो हॉस्पिटल में जहाँ पे वो ब्रिज गिर गया था, क्या चमकाया हॉस्पिटल को ओवरनाइट, फुल रंदा वंदा मार के मस्त। और क्या, हमें लोकल कोई मिला नहीं होगा ना उनको इंटीरियर डिजाइनर, तो ओवरनाइट जो भी मिला लगा दिया। तो जहाँ पे सब बेचारे पड़े हैं, जो ब्रिज कोलैप्स में जब बच गए थे, उनके पीछे
हाँ।
बच्चों की फोटो लगी, कुत्तों की फोटो लगी है, लाइक इट्स पीडियाट्रिक वार्ड और
अरे,
समथिंग।
स्टॉक फोटोज।
कितना कितना फनी है ना, यानी ये पब्लिक को दिखता नहीं है, दिख भी रहा है, बट फिर भी, इफ नॉट मोदी देन हु, इफ नॉट अदानी देन हु विल विन द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट? काफी हार्ड था ये, नेक्स्ट। अरे 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 अरे, ये मैं देख। I think that girl must not even be from North. She might be from like some Eastern country. That makes this worse.
यहाँ पे लिखा ना, स्टाइल इज नॉट टेस्ट। पेज का नाम देखो।
अच्छा, पेज का नाम ही यही है।
हाँ।
So I remember sending this meme to a friend who's from Northeast, and she laughed her ass off because it is actually true. Is there a in market में Shirish, यानी dating market में, is there a fascination from girls from Northeast amongst young men?
ऑफ कोर्स।
Yeah. Why is it?
100%।
Because they look different.
एक वो है, मतलब नॉट अपने महाराष्ट्र के इधर मार्केट में नहीं, दिल्ली में बहुत है फॉर सम रीजन।
Delhi and
बिकॉज
Bangalore, because there are more of them are there, and they're studying and their families
हाँ
are there.
हाँ, वैसा बॉम्बे में तो नहीं है।
Because they look different.
हाँ, मतलब एक वो आजकल वो ऐसा कोरिया वोरिया का भी बहुत ट्रेंड होता है ना आजकल।
अच्छा,
हाँ
इसके वजह से।
हाँ, तो ऐसा
Do
उनको
they
दिख।
also tend to be little more liberal than like the local girls, if I may call them that?
पता नहीं
There is
ऐसा।
no right answer in this question, but still. राहुल बोले मोदी जी पीछे वाली पे मेरा क्रश है। Whoever is saying right wing girl writing proud Hindu in bio, but then denying to marry a boyfriend from other caste. BTS, हाँ, okay, okay, BTS, okay.
But BTS is a boy idol group ऐसा।
And is it true that BTS is a Korean government propaganda?
नहीं नहीं, कैसे हो सकता है? बट जो नहीं नहीं, कैपिटलिज्म का प्रोपेगेंडा, दैट्स 100% फॉर श्योर। बिकॉज कैसा है कि आपको पता है ना, ऐसे जो पॉप ग्रुप्स है बेसिकली फ्रॉम कोरिया एंड स्टफ, उनको मतलब दे आर लाइक फकिंग स्लेव्स। ये जो बीटीएस है, ब्लैक पिंक है, तो
Slaves of the company they are assigned to.
हाँ, तो मतलब उनका एक स्ट्रिक्ट स्केड्यूल है कि सुबह उठा आपको प्रैक्टिस करना है, आपको ये करना है, आप किसी को डेट नहीं कर सकते, आप किसी से ऐसा बात कोई लड़के से बात नहीं कर सकते, या फिर कोई लड़की से
क्यों?
बात नहीं कर।
They
दैट्स
are also fans of bare biceps or what? How to say mut mat maro in Korean? Google search. Prachi saying a lot of Northeast girls work in local spas. Yeah, whatever job they can get, I guess. Gander saying BTS hardcore fans propaganda.
अरे, डू यू नो कि एक वो चुटकी का आइकन है विच इज फेमस, कि लोग ऐसा चुटकी बना के ऐसा फोटो निकालता है आजकल।
ऐसा ऐसा
हाँ हाँ,
हाँ
तो वो अभी व्हाट्सएप पे भी आ गया, विच इज बीटीएस का वो। नॉट दिस, द फर्स्ट वन यू डिड।
ऐसा
हाँ
ओके
हाँ, तो वो ऐसा बीटीएस का एक है, तो सब ऐसा करने लग गए, इवन व्हाट्सएप पे आ गया वो आइकन ऐसा।
दैट इज बीटीएस का आइकन ऐसा
हाँ,
बट देन ये सब गाना बना उसका बना था कौन है दे मस्ट बी लाइक अ टीम ऑफ राइटर्स एंड प्रोड्यूसर्स नो
नो नो, मतलब राइटर्स रहता है, फिर म्यूजिक प्रोड्यूसर भी रहता है, बट गाता ये लोग है, और डांस ये लोग करता
गाता ये लोग खुद ही है
है। हाँ, और डांस भी ये लोग करता है ऐसा।
बट हाउ कम एवरी सॉन्ग इज अ हिट ऐसा कभी होता नहीं कि लोग बोलते हैं ये गाना थोड़ा मजा नहीं है ऐसा नहीं होता हर गाना हिट ही होता है क्या उनका कुछ भी गा ले
50% तो हिट होता है, विच इज अ रियली गुड रेट।
and do only the BTS the singers look like that कि everybody in Korea looks like they're made up of sugar I think उधर this makeup and like plastic surgery must be through the roof no in that country
मतलब क्या, मतलब आई, मतलब फर्क क्या ही लगेगा, आई थिंकिंग दैट।
अरे 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 let's not go down that route ईशान पटेल इस नॉर्थ ईस्ट का इंट्रो लोग कैसे देते बीफ खाते हैं बीफ ये लोग yeah that is true I had gone to Shillong every second shop was like a meat shop but it's BJP government but अभी जैसा देश वैसा बेस that's heart not चुटकी अच्छा अच्छा ये है क्या ऐसा ये है क्या
नहीं 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 नहीं, जो आपने वो चुटकी किया ना वैसा उसको बोलते हार्ट होंगे, मेरे को
इसमें
भी।
नहीं है क्या अपना यूट्यूब चैट में
यूट्यूब चैट पे मैं, नहीं,
देखो
आपको व्हाट्सएप चैट पे भेजता हूँ मैं। ये देखो मैंने भेजा।
so recently called for their mandatory military service and their opinions from finance experts that it might affect the country's economy and government might have to give them concession. I'm sure they must be getting preferential treatment in the military also because they are fucking celebrities, no? And it's also soft power if you look at it diplomatically because they got to address the White House, no? Recently they were in the White House giving some
हाँ
press
हाँ,
conference, no? तो वो सब बड़ा बड़ा बात करता है ऊपर लव पीस लवड़ा लहसुन ये सब
also like the reason why they are able to retain their fans so much is because they are not growing as an artist, right? वो लोग वो सेम स्टफ जो डाला है वैसा ही सेम म्यूजिक डालता है।
they don't what
अभी कैसा, अभी कोई रॉक बैंड है, आप देखते हो कि उसका पहला एल्बम ऐसा है, दूसरे एल्बम में ऐसा है, तो उनका म्यूजिक इवॉल्व होता है, इनका नहीं होता है, इनके हर एल्बम में सेम साउंड है, और इनके फैंस का भी म्यूजिक इवॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है, तो वो
उनका
लोग सेम ही
फैन सब निभा निभी है ना उनका कितना होगा कॉन्शियसनेस
सुनते। मोर देन निब्बा, दे आर निब्बीज ऐसा।
अच्छा मोर निब्बीस
हाँ,
But I will believe in BTS when Putin's daughter becomes a fan and she makes him stop the war. Then you can say, yes, art has changed the world. Otherwise, they're only selling merchandise. Akashdeep बोल रहे हैं कि BTS works more like a music, a corporate and a music band. Proper psychologically writing होता है. But then that is true for a lot of pop songs. No? Like right down from Madonna to Britney Spears, the artist is the front face of a corporation, and it is all produced. Sad actually.
But इनका जो rules है, they are like वो slave के बराबर है वैसा.
इनको भी बोला होगा ना हिलाने का नहीं तो तुम्हारा वैल्यू डाउन हो जाएगा. एंड कोरिया में टेक्नोलॉजी इतना है कि हिलाएगा तो कहाँ पे अलार्म बज जाएगा. All right, next. I like your this is so heartbreaking. Shirish, do you know what this meme means?
Of course.
You know, acha, you're not that young yet to not know Pink Floyd, thankfully.
नहीं मतलब मैं सुनता है बस.
Many people might. Roger Waters' episode on Joe Rogan is a beautiful episode. 2 hours, and Roger Waters talks about obviously his own musical career and his journey, but a lot about his activism and what drives his activism, and what all he's been doing recently about even the war in Russia and how he conducts his. पता है शिरीष वो बोल रहा था कि वो कॉन्सर्ट 100 टाइम्स किया है ना, फिर भी वो सेट लिस्ट हर बार चेंज करता है. लाइक हाउ वी डू इन स्टैंड अप, तो थोड़ा आगे थोड़ा पीछे, एक कम एक ज्यादा. इट कुड बी द वे इट इज संग, द लाइंस, इट कुड बी द प्रॉप्स, द लाइट अरेंजमेंट, बट ही कीप्स ऑन इंप्रूविंग ऑन इट इन एवरी शो.
क्यों ऐसा कुछ रीजन बोला उसने?
क्योंकि the Pink Floyd shows, no, they are a spectacle, it's not just songs, no, it's like it's an audio visual experience. So I have seen Roger Waters when he has come to अपना BKC many years back. और है वो वाली
BKC में आया था?
Yeah, proper experience. Of course, Floyd split up long time ago. Roger Waters is separate, and who's the other guy? The guitarist, Gilmore is separate, and I guess they both sing all the same songs, and there are some songs which are also individual. So, but all the Floyd classics he sings, Roger Waters in, and he has a great band that accompanies him. Or no, they have a big pig, no, जिसके ऊपर they write all different things, no, which is happening in the world. It could be about war and peace and all of the buzzwords of that time, and then they release the pig at the end at a particular song. So it's an experience. But तुमको लगता है झेन जी को समझेगा ये सब जो लोग बीटीएस सुनता है?
अरे क्यों ऐसा क्यों इम्पोज कर रहे हो उन पे ऐसा?
अरे तो कब बड़ा होगा ये लोग चूते लोग?
नहीं होने वाला है,
नहीं होने वाला, ऐसा ही मर जाएगा भाई. Imagine when Gen Z has kids, it must be the funniest shit. अभी ये मीम तो शेयर करना पड़ेगा अपने को, पेज पे भेजना मेरे को. दिस इज सो एप्ट. अंकल शर्ट पहन के आए पिंक फ्लॉयड का. Right, how many people are joined in here? 67, not bad. Already 1 hour in. Let's try to wrap up. Q&A भी करना है सीरीज, खाना भी खाने का अपने को. कितना और है क्या? बहुत
देखना पड़ेगा कितना है थोड़ा ही.
All right, let's do it. Next
2-3 ही है. Next one is also music related.
अच्छा, name my band. अरे मैंने आगे पढ़ा भी नहीं, but I know what is going to be. Megadeth, Sharia Twain, Quran, Rage Against the Crusades, Quran South the Stone, Bomb Jovi, The Throwing Stones, Sunni and Re.
Bombs and Roses.
यानी लड़कियां कैसे आगे आएंगी ऐसे करोगे तो? There is one girl who again, like, she's younger than this girl and she does all electric guitar पे solos, ये hijab पहन के. I forgot her name. He covers all metal bands and all this. Beautiful, but people have no chill. यार उसने खुद कहा होगा कैसा name my band? तुम लोग खुद ही बना के डाला ऐसा जानबूझ के?
Oh, actually there's a Reddit रेडिट पे एक सब रेडिट है, तो उस पे ऐसा है कि उसका नाम ही ऐसा है रोस्ट मी। उसका सब रेडिट का नाम है रोस्ट मी,
हाँ
तो उस पे
हाँ,
सब लोग ऐसा पिक्चर डालते हैं अपना
जानबूझ
कि
के खुद का ही डालता है क्या?
हाँ कि मेरे को रोस्ट करो ऐसा। तो ये उसका ही है।
That is commendable. You're
हाँ
saying this girl has put it herself.
हाँ कि मेरे नाम, मेरे बैंड को नेम करो ऐसा।
एक जन ने लिखा है इराक एंड रोल। साला कुछ छोड़ा नहीं।
तो ऐसा।
Gander is saying Slash is better than Gilmore. It's about styles. No, Slash is more flamboyant. Gilmore is more precise. But yeah, I mean, if you had to pick one, you'll go for Slash. Gilmore is more of a overall composer and producer. Slash was just a guitar player. But a lot of this depends on the popularity also. So if you see the top 10 guitarists का आता रहता है list or surveys, so Kurt Cobain keeps featuring उसमें, and by no means was he a great guitar player, but because of the popularity, because he died, तो चलो ठीक है. Because you can name 10 better guitarists like this, not than Kurt Cobain. But a lot of this is also about popularity. But sure, Slash is fucking amazing. And imagine performing like that while you're on drugs. Maybe it is because you're on drugs. I don't know. If people are not aware, Slash is also part of a band called Velvet Revolver later in his career, and collab with Miles Kennedy from another band, and those are also great tracks. निखिल गोस्वामी is asking, can peace exist without war? ये भी सही बात है. मारो एक दूसरे को और क्या. Yeah, there's a music movie on Pink Floyd's Wall. That's quite good. Chetan Bhagat said, Urfi Javed is distracting youth. You are so right, putting his photo along with KRK and Rakshi Samant. I think this was a collab between Chetan Bhagat and Urfi, isn't it? क्या लगता है शिरीष? तुमने देखा वो न्यूज़?
अरे क्या देखने का ऐसा था अभी। एनीमे देखो, खुश रहो, मैं तो बोलता हूँ।
1000 episodes.
यस, ये सब सुनने से तो अच्छा है।
Tanmay Singh saw Slash live in 16 in Mumbai. He had come with Miles Kennedy. अच्छा 2016 में he had come. I saw GNR, and yeah, obviously they are still split up at that time. So he had come with another guitarist. I think he had come with Buckethead था क्या साथ में, because he was also wearing a cap. I forget, but it was also a great concert. Again, I don't know if the lip sync or what nowadays. इतना दूर से कोई दिखता भी नहीं है. All right, next meme.
मशरूम
Man
क्राउड।
soars to the highest temperature ever recorded. अरे अरे Hiroshima memes for nuclear teens. क्या बात है. Very good. Next.
Last one.
Is the last one? Okay.
Yeah.
It's so hard to find a straight man that is it should be who, but anyway.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Confident enough to compliment me on my looks. Nice pause. यार ऐसा कौन बोलता है नाइस बॉस कुछ भी वेच.
अरे कैटलिन जेनर है ना वो.
हाँ पर कैटलिन, why would she make such a grammar mistake also? It is so hard to find the straight man that who is confident. Anyway, funny तो था काफी. So I think that brings us to the end of the treasure chest of dank memes that was collated by our very own Jimmy. And we can maybe go through a couple of memes that have been DM'd to us, and then we can go to the Q&A if you guys are still with us. Are you still with us, guys, in the chat? $64 people watching. Great. Enough. The 64 is enough. But do like the stream if you haven't already. Like I keep saying, need to reach more people. This is a new channel. And before we continue, before I forget, next episode, new episode of Beyond the Laughs with Nishan Suri, full episode will be released on this channel tomorrow morning. It's a great episode. I saw it again today and it's refreshed my memory. It's a very leisurely chat, but I'm sure if you like my work in general, you will enjoy this episode as well. तो ऑलरेडी लिंक है चैनल पे. कल सुबह 11 बजे इट विल प्रीमियर and it is a live premiere, so I'll be there in the chat if some of you guys are free in the morning. Do come at 11. Nishan Suri, Beyond the Laughs. Can you put the link here? Shirish, मिल रहेगा link, देखो तो.
एक सेकेंड.
प्राणवक्षा, क्या नाम है यार, प्राणवक्षा. इससे जेल जाओगे तभी साथ में है. आई डाउट इट. तुम सब निकल जाओगे आगे अपना बिटकॉइन लेके वेंचर. शिरीष एक बार पढ़ो तो गैंडास ने क्या लिखा है, देखिए. कैटलिन जेनर वर्सेस स्नेक. आई कैन रीड बियॉन्ड दैट, दिस इज टू हार्ड, बट तुम पढ़ सकते हो.
एक सेकंड, वो लिंक डाल रहा हूँ.
राहुल बोल रहे केसरिया में अच्छे दिख रहे हो. अरे धन्यवाद. अपना ही देश है यार, क्या है उसमें. पर राइट विंग मीम्स में तो बनता ही है. क्या बोलते हो भाई लोग.
एक टिक्का भी लगा देना चाहिए था आपको.
Gandalf is saying Beyond the Last with Prashasti was very refreshing. Yeah, it was a great episode. Didn't reach a lot of people, but I generally see a lot of hate coming for women comedians, even on my channel, which is very disappointing. Like just general hate. No, you're not funny. इनको थोड़ी कुछ आता है वगैरह वगैरह. Anyway, here is the link for Nishant Suri tomorrow morning. It will be released at 11. Look it up. बाइसेप्स पे पूरा ध्यान दे रहे हो सर. नहीं dude, not biceps. सब कुछ ध्यान देने का. I have a 4-day routine. I cover all body parts once at least. And for the enthusiasts, you should know that overall arm size में triceps are thrice the size of biceps if you are balanced. Isn't it, Jamie?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree there.
बताओ क्या है डीएम में, क्या भेजा लोगों ने अपने को. मनीष त्यागी ने भेजा है क्या?
नहीं.
हाँ ये रहा. येडके साहेब आणि मुळे साहेब काय पाठवले आहे. अरे अरे बाप रे. जरा पहले देख लो, खोलने के पहले लोग कुछ भी भेजेंगे, अपन जेल में जाएंगे.
नहीं.
जिंदगी से खोल दो चलो. LIC यानी जिंदगी से ज्यादा मरने के बाद के फायदे बताने वाली कंपनियां. Well, this is true of any Western religion, including Christianity, I guess. But yeah, this is also an anime meme, by the way.
हाँ, this is actually from Naruto.
From
Naruto जो आपने पढ़ा.
Oh, Naruto. तो Naruto में क्या मारा मारी क्या होता है उसके अंदर?
तो अभी क्या प्लॉट एक्सप्लेन करूँ?
एक्सप्लेन करो वन लाइनर में.
तो इट्स जस्ट एवरी, मतलब जो वन पीस भी मेंशन किया था और अभी नारुतो है, जो पोकेमोन है, इन सबका ट्रोप सेम ही है कि जो मेन कैरेक्टर होता है वो बहुत वीक रहता है स्टार्टिंग में, फिर ओवर द सीरीज वो ऐसा स्ट्रांग होते होते जाता है. ऐसा बस
अंडरडॉग है. सब में अंडरडॉग स्टोरी है.
हाँ, सब में अंडरडॉग स्टोरी है.
कोई भी एनिमे में फीमेल नहीं है क्या प्रोटोगोनिस्ट मेन?
है ना, ऑफ कोर्स है. ऐसे अलग एनिमे है, वो अलग जॉनरा हो जाता है एनिमेस का.
अच्छा, वो वाला जॉनरा है.
हाँ ऐसा. तो ये ऐसा, ये शोनेन बोलते हैं इसको. जो नारुतो है, ये जो जॉनरा है नारुतो का प्लस पोकेमोन का प्लस वन वीक, इसको शोनेन बोलते हैं.
म्हणजे काय है?
इट जस्ट मीन्स कि वही कि इसमें मतलब लफड़ा हो रहा है कि
लफड़ा हो रहा है. दैट्स सो वेग.
यही है,
लफड़ा हो रहा है. क्या प्लॉट है वेंचर. अनहर्ड ऑफ ओरिजिनल प्लॉट. लफड़ा हो रहा है. वो जो है ना, पता कार्टून जो बहुत फनी है, सॉरी नॉट फनी एट ऑल, बहुत इरिटेटिंग है, जो बहुत चिल्लाता है. क्या नाम है वो चुतिया का बच्चा जो होता छोटा, जो बहुत गंदा ड्राइंग है जिसमें.
डोरेमोन.
हाँ डोरेमोन. हिट कितना कितना इरिटेटिंग है. वो दिमाग का शॉट है पूरा, बट किड्स लव इट. आई गेस वो वही है, it's like a Tom and Jerry thing, no, where the small kid, I don't know, whatever, he has
तो
nuisance
उसमें
value.
कैसा है कि वो एस्केपिज्म वाला भी पार्ट आता है ना, जिसके
हाँ,
अंदर सब बच्चा कहता है कि एवरी किड इज अ लूजर, राइट? फिर वो लूजर बच्चा जाता है डोरेमोन के पास, उसको बोलता है कि कुछ तू मैजिक से कर, तू ऐसा। तो
but I
डोरेमोन,
heard the backstory is kind of sad because the
हाँ हाँ,
creator's sister had died in the child, ऐसा कुछ है ना उसमें?
नहीं नहीं, तो जो बंदा नोबिता है, विच इज द लूजर किड, राइट? तो
हम्म,
गेट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, कुछ उसको स्प्लिट पर्सनालिटी डिसऑर्डर, या किसके दिखाई जो देता है वो कौन सा डिजीज है, स्किज़ोफ्रेनिया था,
हम्म,
राइट? ही स्टार्टेड इमेजिनिंग थिंग्स कि अच्छा ऐसा ऐसा डोरेमोन है मेरी जिंदगी में एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट स्टफ।
लेकिन इमेजिनरी फ्रेंड ऐसा है क्या?
हाँ, एंड देन ही डाइड ऑफ इवेंचुअली, ऐसा।
यार इमेजिनरी फ्रेंड का चक्कर सिर्फ वेस्ट में कि अपन लोग भी करते हैं इधर?
सिर्फ वेस्ट में ही है, इधर तो
इधर कोई
मतलब,
प्रिवेसी नहीं है, बच्चों को इमेजिनरी फ्रेंड कहाँ से लेके आएगा?
हाँ, इधर क्या बोले अभी आप लोग।
ऑलराइट, दिस वाज, किसने भेजा है ये?
भाई
वैभव ने
वो
भेजा
ये,
है ना था, धन्यवाद वैभव साहब फॉर योर कंट्रीब्यूशन। अभी देखते हैं शुभांकर ने क्या भेजा है। अरे अरे अरे, सब लोग हार्ड ही आज तो, आज तक पीक डियर, क्या बोल रही है वो आवाज?
आज हम आपको बताएंगे मोदी का सबसे बड़ा राज कि हिंदुत्ववादी छवि वाले नरेंद्र मोदी पिछले जन्म में थे कट्टर मुसलमान। ये है कहानी मोदी के पिछले जन्म की। ये है अब तक का सबसे बड़ा खुलासा। ऐसा राज जो न खुद मोदी को पता हो, ऐसी बात जो न उनके समर्थक जानते हैं और न ही विरोधी। अपने पिछले जन्म में नरेंद्र मोदी मशहूर समाज सुधारक सर सैयद अहमद खां थे। जी हां, पिछले जन्म में नरेंद्र मोदी कट्टर मुस्लिम नेता सर सैयद अहमद खां थे। वही सैयद अहमद खां जिन्होंने अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी की स्थापना की। वही सैयद अहमद खां जिन्होंने मुसलमानों के लिए अलग मुल्क बनाने की मांग सबसे पहले उठाई थी। हिंदुस्तान के मुसलमानों की एकता की अलख जगाने वाले सैयद अहमद खां ही इस जन्म में नरेंद्र मोदी के रूप में
कहानी मोदी के पिछले जन्म।
What to give come at the right time.
आज हम आपको बताएंगे।
By the looks of it.
You know what is happening? This is like there's so much to explain to our friend. Can people see Kautuk right now? Is he live?
Sorry?
Shiri, is Kautuk on the stream yet?
yes yes,
He is, okay. Look, I'll also plug in so I can hear. Hello, hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
So, if you're not aware yet, this is right-wing meme reacts, dude.
Oh my. Oh my.
So, काफी hard memes. As you know, Shirish is a connoisseur of dank memes.
Huh.
So, उसका पूरे treasure chest है, which is like a secret folder.
Dude, isn't, by the way, Shirish, you're the person who posts on the Chalta Hai Instagram page, right?
हाँ।
Because, you know, sometimes I'll see a meme on my feed, I'm like, where did this come from? And then I see that it's the work of the great Shirish Boga.
No, we also have one more employee now who we cannot name for security reasons. And
Huh.
he is also contributing some major hard stuff
Huh.
to the page. So,
तो ऐसा कौतुक आके तो
हाँ.
फिलोसॉफिकल मीम्स भी करते, ऐसा रिएक्ट।
Oh, yeah. Let's.
लंबा हो जाएगा फिर, ऑलरेडी 1 घंटा Q&A के लोग बैठा है ना. We'll do
हाँ, चलो, let's do.
we'll do some other. नहीं, अरे
बस ही
बहुत,
है ऐसा।
अरे ऐसा नहीं, बनाने का तो बहुत पेजेस है ना ऑनलाइन, अपन जमा करके लेके आएगा फिलोसॉफिकल मीम. क्या बोलता है कौतुक, 1 एपिसोड यू एंड मी?
Yeah. Let's do philosophy.
Philosophical memes.
Dude, you know something, Punit?
हाँ,
I was thinking of starting one whole series called
हाँ.
Inadvertent Philosophy from Bollywood.
हाँ,
Which was
हाँ.
because so Siddhi and I we were watching one, you know those music channels that are there, right? That somehow still exist. Right? So उसमें बज रहा था जीने के हैं 4 दिन. I was like, that is so succinctly put. It is the best way of saying that youth is wasted on the young.
So that means Salman Bhai is promoting stoicism.
Yeah,
Huh?
exactly.
With a towel between his legs.
Meaning, if there is a way to do philosophy, it is with a towel between your legs.
Oh man. But it's a great song, dude. It's just a fucking great song.
जीने के है 4 दिन, बाकी है बेकार दिन. How much better can it be?
So Gandalf in the chat is saying, Kautuk bhai, I finally read Red Card. It was good. Know that there is one guy who loves it, at least.
अरे क्या बात है. Thank you, Gandalf. Your 12 rupees are very appreciated. That is how much royalty you get from a book sale.
Which means that you could be a best-selling author in the country and still not be able to afford pizza at expensive restaurant. All right. So this function is saying Siddhi and I finally has arrived on the chat.
Can't believe that's a catchphrase. Of all the things. Dude, there was one other great chat where someone had said, किधर तो किसी ने तो बोला था कि पुनीत भाई बाइसेप पे बहुत ध्यान दे रहे हो. Loved it.
Yeah. I'm following the Daniel Fernandez model of comedy. और कौन करता है जिम वैसे? The fittest comic is Niti Palta. She can do fucking headstands and everything. But वो तो next level है. और कौन करता है? Daniel करता है. और
Adar Varun are pretty fit.
Oh fuck yeah! How can I forget? Adar to vegan.
Yeah, despite that, it's like it's amazing.
ठाकुर इतनी सिर्फ बेसिक फिटनेस है कि ठाकुर भी ऐसा कुछ मुआय थाई करता है, ऐसा कुछ है क्या?
No, not Muay Thai, but he's Bollywood fit. So he's gym and like, because as an actor you have to be that way, because how else will anyone give you a role?
Yeah, and you also been working out, right? Nahi.
I am sporadic. I was more regular. Now I'm a little sporadic.
Okay.
But I basically like I've been much better than, even with my sporadic gymming, I've been doing the other stuff better, where I've not been like how they say that you can't out gym a bad diet.
I didn't know that was a phrase, but sure,
that was a phrase. So the thing is that when I got into fitness, I did what I usually do, which is I deep dived and did research for 30 days first.
Yes, Huberman all the way.
Yeah. So eventually you come across words like gains. And you start using it in your daily vocab.
हमारा जिम में एक बच्चा आता है, एक like barely 20, तो उसको सब लोग हैरी पॉटर बोलता है because he's sort of thin and has a chashma and looks like Potter.
Yeah.
So ट्रेनर उसकी लेते रहता है, तो वो क्या सब वो he doesn't take help from the trainer, वो खुद से करता है, कुछ भी नया सीख के आता है, करता रहता है. But
dude, this is something worth talking about, the fact that in today's day and age, it's a very interesting thing where when I started gymming in 2009 or 8, there was the knowledge was very specialized and it was held by people who were in the gym for the longest period of time, right? Like it was the trainers and all of those people.
Yeah.
Now any third like random guy can just on their phone find out every fitness variation, tip, trick, everything, right? And I think it has its pros and cons, where like if you slowly build up to whatever, you can make it without a trainer. But at the same time, people do the same thing that they do with doctors, where they'll read something on the internet and with no knowledge there.
Yeah, it is exactly that. Exactly that. But also trainers earlier used to have all the power, so they would sell you the random supplements, which now you can double check. So दोनों तरीके से, this is in market terms, it is called information asymmetry. The seller has inordinately more info than the buyer, Like a car salesman, for example. No, आपको बोला हॉर्स पावर इतना है, तेरे को कुछ मालूम ही नहीं क्या हॉर्स पावर होता है, और तू ये ट्राइंग टू साउंड लाइक हाँ बरोबर, बिल्कुल सही बात है आपका, बिल्कुल सही बात.
This is also a good point. Yeah.
So it's called information asymmetry, and you cannot always overcome it. So you need regulation. Otherwise, the seller will take the buyer for a ride.
Yeah.
So which is why there's the logic on which ads are based in the US. No, US is one of the only few countries where you can advertise medicines.
Yeah.
No, and then the patient can go to doctor and say कि मेरे को ये चाहिए, and he can still and he can still override it, but at least there's some power to the patient.
मेरे को ये चाहिए.
हाँ, मेरे को वायग्रा चाहिए तो so it gives some power back, but then like anything in capitalism, once something is legal, you do it till the cops come. तो अभी इतना एडवर्टाइजमेंट है कि फार्मा इज एक्चुअली द हाईएस्ट एडवर्टाइजर आफ्टर ऑटोमोबाइल्स, और बिफोर दैट ऐसा टॉप 2 में आता है इतना एडवर्टाइजमेंट, एंड ऑफ लाइक हार्ड ड्रग्स लाइक कैंसर वैंसर का भी उसका एड आता है वहां पे. तो एंड ऑल द एड्स आर द सेम, नो मोस्टली लाइक वही होता है, खुशहाली छाई हुई है तो और गोली खाया सब ठीक हो गया. So there is a very nice bizarro cartoon, single panel. उसमें old couple is walking by the beach with the sandals in the hand, no, and there are like footprints behind. Nice sunset is happening, and the lady saying, "John, this is so nice. We could almost be in a pharma ad right now."
You know something, talking of the ads ka thing, like it's always been surprising to me how, like, I've never been as happy to get a TV as the people in the ads. Dude, वो ऐसा टीवी पकड़ के उछल रहा है, right? It's a very mundane activity, to be honest. So
हमारा कांदिवली स्टेशन है ना, वहाँ पे बोर्ड लगा है कांदिवली का. So the word Kandiwali is been spelled out. Okay. It is spelled out with people doing acrobatics. So K में कोई ऐसा खड़ा है, A में कोई ऐसा खड़ा है. Like nobody is that happy to be in Kandiwali ever. But yeah, sure.
Dude, that that little design quirk that started in New York, right? I heart NY, right? Remember that thing? And then it just spread everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And there should be a law, because some places need to apply before they can declare.
Dude, everywhere, dude. I love Yerwada Pune mein.
Dude. I love Yerwada. Yeah. Dude, it became very specific. There was in Pune, there is I love Coconut Chowk.
Yeah.
Why is it so specific?
Even the Havaldar who works there does not like the fucking chowk. He wants to go home and beat his wife. But anyway. Ritik Kapoor asking out of nowhere, do you eat meat? Nahi, dude, kabhi nahi khaya. There is no context.
Where do you get your protein from?
Dude, bhe protein, dude. Or kya? There's no other option.
But whey is not at all animal and all that. It's all
whey
right.
Is all milk. No, whey means milk protein.
Okay, milk protein.
Yeah. So, of course, there are all these urban legends. You know, whey खाएगा ना, तेरा पेट में जम जाता है और 12 साल तक बाहर नहीं निकलता है. तो I'm like, how can that be possible? But it works, no? Like you can see the results. I mean, इतना कुछ अपना खास नहीं है built, but I wouldn't even get this much results with घास फूस. नहीं होता है.
Yeah, it would be difficult. I mean, it's possible, but you would have to eat like paneer that is of your weight.
Yeah, यानी आधा गोनी पल्सेस खाना पड़ेगा तभी जाके होएगा. All right, let's do the Q&As. Kautuk Subankar Mude is a frequent flyer on our lives. He's saying, hi Kautuk, love this. Met you and Punit in July in Backspace Thane. Oh, right. Array. By the way, do you miss Lower Parel?
Oh.
Hashtag Lorda Supreme.
Lower Parel. An interesting question. Surprisingly, I don't miss Lower Parel, because my life has vastly improved since I've left Lower Parel, because for the simple reason that all our shows used to happen in the evening in the suburbs, and that basically meant I would get stuck in office traffic to get. So if I had to get to a show in Andheri at 8 p.m, I had to leave Lower Parel at 5 p.m. So I think most of your life and your quality of living in Mumbai is completely dictated by traffic. So if you're less in it, your life is so much better.
Yeah.
It's just shocking.
Yeah. But most people can't decide that way because they have kids and their schools and shit.
All of
So,
that. Yeah. It's a
yeah.
privilege.
Yeah.
Also, the other crazy thing about Lower Parel, for those of you who are not from a very specific part in Mumbai, let me just explain to you. So Lower Parel was in the middle. It's in the central Mumbai, and back in the day, it used to be all mills, right? So all the mills used to be in Lower Parel and Parel, and eventually, what happened is that, like everything else, it got gentrified. And so today you have the tallest skyscrapers in Mumbai are all in Lower Parel. The crazy part is that they've added about 50 to 60 skyscrapers of 60 stories each, and they've kept the same 3 roads. So जो जम के ट्रैफिक होता है उधर, it's unbelievable.
Dude, that east-west bridge is jinxed और वो बन ही नहीं रहा है जब से वो लोग बंद किया उसको.
Dude, I read a fun update on that. So they were saying that the reason they couldn't finish building the bridge was because they had to, like, it's an odd bridge and they had to build it in one odd way, and then they couldn't find a vehicle to transport those parts thing. So that delayed it by like a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
How?
So I suspect like most things are just logistical problems that aren't getting solved because of bureaucratic reasons.
Yeah, because if you really get on it, shit can get done in today's world. We are building metro underground.
Bro, fuck that. Like, we got through a global pandemic in less than 3 years.
Yeah.
A global pandemic. The whole world had come to a stop, and then somehow, through sheer will, effort, and concentrated sort of direction, we were able to just pull ourselves out of it in less than 3 years. That's a unbelievable amount of.
But it was a pandemic only if you do not believe in the lizard people. If you believe in them, then it was a hoax.
Oh, dude. I sometimes ask myself, what is the conspiracy theory that I am believing in but not knowing it?
Great
कुछ तो होगा ना?
Great question. Yeah.
कुछ तो होगा. Like, for example, whey protein. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But maybe it may be important, but I'll never know because I don't plan to have kids. So people are dying to get to the Q&A. One big topic for today is that Ravish has resigned from NDTV. So it has happened. As expected, no?
Yeah, it's inevitable.
He's got his YouTube channel which has 6-7 lakh subscribers already. So good for him. He has a start. But till last week, I think a week before, you were doing prime time like you always used to. But now, आते ही वो director change कर दिया वो लोग ने, तो ऊपर से आ गया होगा ना?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Could be that. I mean, it most likely is that. Like, and it's a huge, like, if you are to ask the question, will NDTV change after the takeover? Ravish resigning is the answer.
Yeah. I thought that they might keep it going because they need somebody to hate on also. Because,
like that.
Yeah, if he goes away, then there's nothing on the news which is contrarian.
No, but then why buy it? Like, if that was, if the one punching bag.
Because it is petty change for Adani Sahib. It's like
so I mean, that's the thing now. Like, you would, but even if you're spending petty change, you would do it to
further up the ante.
Just to control any kind of narrative, right? Essentially, at the end of the day, like, if there's anything negative about the company or whatever it is, it'll never like see the light of day. That's what you want.
Yeah, we was because he was critical of the two big A's also.
Yeah, and by the way, this might be the conspiracy theory that we believe in.
And you can't say that Adani just bought it randomly because he randomly has entered every business possible without any expertise or prior track record. No? So, ye bhi sahi. Might as well.
There could be some mathematical formula that you could draw out of the fact that expertise is directly related to the amount of money you have.
Oh God. This is the thing is that I think they first built a whole narrative and they create enough noise amongst their core believers. So they all been hating Ravish so hard, like, no. So there must have been a time when they were like just not liking him, to a time when they're like, he's अब agree to disagree, to a point where they started criticizing him, ki he's biased or whatever. To a point where they would say outright say that no, he's anti-national. No, so there's a spectrum. So they get them from here to here, and when they know there'll be no sympathy left, then they finish him off. Amongst their core followers, because see, there is a spectrum everywhere. With every controversy, I can see people shifting over to the right, like people I know or people who are say regular for commenters or followers on the page, or even public figures who I don't know personally, but I know you notice what they're saying, and they're all shifting. Like so big issue like the Nupur Sharma happens, some people go over to that side. Then Kashmir files happens, some people who are fence sitters or centrist, they also move out to the right. So every big controversy is helping them get more people to their side, क्योंकि ये side का कुछ बैटिंग है ही नहीं ना, क्योंकि उनको बैटिंग ही नहीं मिल रहा है, वो लोग सिर्फ फील्डिंग कर रहे हैं वो लोग.
Yeah,
Have you noticed that amongst people you know or your friends, like more people turning right?
Yeah, 100%. Because also it's basically a lot of the stuff is also this, na? It's like asking questions where it's rhetoric, which is very well done, right? Like you're posing questions for which the answer can never be no, right? Like, do you love your country? Yes, of course. And therefore, so like it's pure well done rhetoric. So if you do rhetoric well, there is no way you're losing. The point is that there is no counter rhetoric yet. There should be, but there isn't.
Yeah, the counter rhetoric needs dollars to back it up. No, otherwise, it'll not reach a screen only. Right now, it's down to that.
Also,
they just like the party just don't have money, dude.
Yeah, I also like just the fact that you remember in 2000 and when was it? 2012, 13, right? When the like onion prices had gone up, right? And like there were memes everywhere. There was the layer of memes, then there was one layer of frustration, layer of anger, and then it became like a political issue, right? Which all things should. Like eventually, like the things that affect everyone's lives, they have to be raised correctly. And you don't see any of that, man, anymore. Like it's every single issue that is like the issues that are become big things. Like for example, this Kashmir files thing, like it doesn't affect anybody, dude. Like
no, but then you're denying the genocide of the.
No, it's not, right? Because you're talking about a movie. Like a movie, you're criticizing a movie. You're not denying the genocide at all.
The movie is equal to India, equal to Hinduism. ऐसा हो गया ना अभी.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Like it's it's beautiful rhetoric, and essentially what's going to happen is you're just, I mean, it's coming to the point where, like, there's so many other things that people can talk about, but we're just being distracted by all of these other like, and by the way, these are extremely touchy topics. Like they get your attention and they hold your attention, which is why it's very difficult to then set the agenda anywhere else, to the less intelligent, like I would say not intelligent, but like the less visceral stuff.
Correct.
The stuff that involves numbers and percentages and that kind of stuff. Like no one wants to talk about that.
Or even a bridge falling and killing 150 people almost.
So yeah, it's all about that, I guess.
I sometimes feel that it looked like they are very shrewd and they can control narrative, like you're saying, but I feel it is just brute force, because the numbers are so overwhelming that no matter how stupid the argument, just repeat it ad nauseum and people start believing it or talking about it. Like 90% of the declared funds for party, which are donations, have gone to the ruling party. And all the channels are in the back pocket. If you just see paisa wise, and they have so many states government, so वहां से भी तो revenue आता ही होगा ना.
Yeah, I mean, like there could be many reasons, and there could be, like, you could make an argument for a very valid argument for the fact that like it's a if you don't get media airtime, then you don't get mass following. You could make that argument. You could also make the argument that there is no cohesion in a or there isn't a very good counter narrative that has been able to capture the people's imagination, because that's also an art, right? Like that's a you need to have like a focus thing that goes on for the longest period of time before it starts registering with more and more people. So you don't see that.
Because if you see whatever Rahul Gandhi has said in the past couple of years, very few things have been misplaced. Like as a press release or as a soundbite, he said everything which is on cue.
Like, yeah, but like what I'm getting at is like something like a Bharat Jodo Yatra. Right? That's a nice, like, you can get, like, it's understandable, and it's like it's gone on long enough that it's made an impression. Like if you imagine if you had just started it and within 3-4 days it was done, right? It wouldn't have gathered the steam that it's kind of sort of gotten now, right? So
and when the ruling party fucks up, it doesn't even make it to the news. Like there's so many incidents of there was a guy running a brothel in Shillong.
Where?
Shillong.
Oh.
Yeah, and then multiple other cases of like rape, etc. directly. But then they just say we have removed him. He was in the party earlier, now he's not there, and then it just gets swept away.
Yeah.
Like just yesterday, Tejasvi Surya, youth leader from Bangalore, he is seen at an event posing with a guy who's supposed to be lapata. Like he's a dreaded criminal in the city.
Oh.
And on police records, it says that this guy Farar hai aadmi. So he's wanted, but we don't know where he is. But he's posing with elected representative of the ruling party, wearing saffron. And you know what the event is? The Gunda has organized a blood donation.
Oh my God.
तो ये सब नहीं आता है ना न्यूज़ में, ये सिर्फ ट्विटर पे कहीं दिखता है and then it's gone. So it's I don't know how the opposition is going to mount any offensive, but right now it looks like a very one-sided battle.
No, it's also an interesting time to it's an interesting time in world politics, because there is this weird thing that's happening where the news is also becoming centralized and decentralized at the same time. So centralized in the sense that there are fewer and fewer like mainstream news channels. Yeah. But at the same time, so many people are getting their news from the internet, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, all of those things, right? So if you have so basically, and in those like unregulated spheres where there is like no official voice or whatever, you can say anything. You can say anything, you can allege anything, and you can also refute anything. So it's just noise. It's just noise. And so there's one life cycle that happens, right, where there'll be a video that comes out and it'll say that so and so person did so and such thing, how terrible, right? You will see the videos are, oh yeah, this is absolutely terrible. Then someone will come out and say, hey, you've not seen the full video, wait for the context. Then the video will come out, you'll see the arey to galat tha. And then this whole thing happens again and again.
Have you seen that Pakistani Twitter thread in which one guy, he had like his handle had a lot of following. He shared a black and white photograph of Sachin in one of his earlier matches, black and white. But ऊपर लिखा Imran Khan 1969 for whatever reason. And he's got thousands of artists. Then people have then trolled him niche with other similar photos which are misappropriated. But that's what it.
Something, Punit, one thing that's really would be very interesting to talk about. So like a slightly like lengthier conversation, but it is this. Okay, so one of the pillars of the internet, or the main characteristics of the internet, is a sense of humor. Okay. Now the crazy part about this is that the things that come out of the internet also seem to be imbued with the sense of humor, and it's very unsettling because, for example, financial markets should not have a sense of humor. And yet you have stuff like Dogecoin, the shit coins, you have GameStop, you have all of this Random fucking crap, right?
Yeah.
The same thing with a lot of the politics and stuff that will come out of the internet. Like, think about what Elon Musk is doing every day on Twitter now, right?
What
Like,
is
it's just,
it's absurd, dude. It is absurd.
it's crazy.
There is one
So-
channel that out of Singapore where a guy does entire videos on the stock market. Okay.
Mm.
And it is funny as fuck, dude. Like, he uses all the kinds of memes and animations you can think of, but it is all hardcore finance. And
Yeah.
he will share his own graphs of the stock and where he lost money and all of that, with the sound effects in the background and those and all the meme elements, but hardcore finance.
Yeah.
And the best part is he's now getting sponsors also.
Like, I think that's the thing, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to see, like, for example, Neil deGrasse Tyson is also an astronomer with a sense of humor, right? With a personality. Like, you're going to see so much more of that. People who know what they're doing, but don't take themselves seriously, right? It was anathema for 2 generations before us, where the whole point was that you won't be taken seriously unless you are serious. So the internet has completely destroyed that notion, because we're like, if you are serious, you're not being authentic. Because to be authentic is to have all the sides of your personality on display all the time.
You think that this is postmodernism finally coming out, like, in the open? So many people, meaning even civilians, who are not artists, are also absurdists without knowing it. Right? Because always it is the philosophers who see things before, like how Nietzsche saw it like 150 years back.
Yeah, जीने के हैं 4 दिन, right? Basically.
कभी ये कहना चाहते हैं. So I feel this irreverence, that you're talking about, or quirky sense of humor, it pervades everywhere, because really the old beliefs are gone. People may still do the puja and everything, but in the heart of hearts, they know कि अगर knee replacement कराना तो कराना पड़ेगा.
Yeah.
So it's like the old system is almost gone. Remnants are still there, and then nothing new to fill the authority wala void. So people have become irreverent and like random. So what the French philosophers were in the 50s, now even UP ka janta finally वहाँ पे पहुंच रहा है in their own way.
You're right. Like, I was thinking about this, and I struggle with this sometimes, because as comedians we have that same instinct. The instinct is absolutely the same, that to take nothing seriously, and there is a difference between what is serious and what is important, right? Like, nothing is serious, some things are important. Right? That's what it is. So but at the same time, I have a writer sensibility of being sincere. Right? I have a true sentimentality that comes from just wanting to be a writer, or wanting to embrace emotion for its own sake, right? And to not question it, and to not introspect on it, and not to dismiss it as being false or fake or generated by whatever. Like, you want to treat it with some kind of sincerity. Now the problem is that sincerity, it has its place on the internet, and it does play out well, but it's at odds with most of the internet. You'll always, like, you put something sincere out, you'll always find one guy go, yeah, chalna, basna. Now, so now the thing is that as a comedian, that voice is inside your head already.
The
chalna jana ho gaya na, kya bol raha. So it's an interesting thing where, like, what do you be sincere about, right? That's the other question, that because everything in life eventually you find out is based on, like, some kind of false ideal, or some kind of
fiction,
right? Where it's what people put belief in long enough, and you've been or stuff that you've been told not to question because of tradition, etc., and then you ask 3 questions of it, and it all comes down like a house of cards.
Yeah.
So
then what is the holy cow for us in that case?
I think one of the things worth questioning is the assumption that the question to answer is like, how do you live when you don't believe in anything, right?
Yeah.
That's always going to be the big question. Second is that there is this I've been reading about this. It's an interesting point of view where science itself has become like one rigid religiosity, where where you just say because science said so, and then people hold on to like crazy beliefs. So the point is that the whole point of science is that it is it is an institution of doubt.
Yeah, but there's dogma in science also, because people are the same everywhere.
Yeah, and the thing is that for certain things, like the obviously the problem is that when you open that door by saying that science is a dogma, so in some regards, if you open that door, then the danger is that you let in the flat earthers.
That and Graham Hancock, all those guys.
You just come on in. Right?
Lizard people.
Yeah. So that obviously is a danger, but like in some respects, for certain things,
because there are so many stories of scientists who are persecuted and sidelined because they were challenging the established dogma, and they got vindicated only years afterwards.
Yeah.
And they got punished in the here and now.
Yeah.
But that is just like tribalism within the scientific community, and that apparently you just can't get over that. किसका नाम आया व्हाइट पेपर में, किसका नाम पहले आ गया रिसर्च पेपर में, ये सब भी होता होगा ना उनका आपस में, उनका भी तो ड्रामा चलता रहेगा उनका भी.
So that's what I was thinking about, कि the biggest drain on resources and time is status games of any kind, right? And to enjoyment of life. And so the thing is that you're never going to be above status games, because it's so fundamental. It almost feels fundamental, like it regulates your mood so much.
Will to power.
Yeah, will to power, and will to power. He still is arguing, keep make your own values, etc., and be contrarian, be above status games, right? But but the thing is that to escape it, right, you've had 2-3 paths. One is that you've had the whole like reject it completely. Most of it is illusion. That's the whole Buddhist way. You have all this Nietzsche stuff where you don't just reject it, but then you also create your own values, all of that stuff. Right? But the status games, the heart of it, you're going to feel it, right? Like,
because everybody around you is still playing. So just you stopping playing does not work.
Yeah, exactly. Like सब लोग क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं और तू फुटबॉल स्टार्ट कर दिया वही पिच पे और तू अकेले खेल रहा है.
Go to Goa at least. Shirish, I think can you tell us some of the questions, because I think सब तो मैं पढ़ नहीं पाएगा. If you can throw us some of the questions from the beginning, and Ravish wala we took. So there are some hardcore Shraddhalus in the live chat who've been waiting with the questions very patiently while we went through all the dank memes that Shirish had for us. Yeah, some very, very hard memes. One meme mein Mr. Modi sitting beside a boy in a school, in one of his photo ops. And they're talking to each other, और blurb में लिखा है to bear biceps नहीं देखता है कि उसने बोला है मुठ नहीं मारने का.
Dank AF.
Yeah, it's too hard for even this stream.
वो Pink Floyd वाला दिखाएगा.
Oh yeah, yes please. That one thing we can go back to. Look at this meme, one of the memes we did today. It is funny and sad at the same time. I'll drop a question in the meanwhile. देख लेते हैं.
Oh. Yeah, this would not be allowed in the Qatar World Cup. This t-shirt.
Oh shit. Hey, how is the football world taking this? Like, no alcohol, dude.
No, so there is alcohol. There's just no alcohol in the stadium. So there's alcohol in like they've got a designated area, which is some meters away from the stadium. The thing is that a lot of stadiums have had this rule for the longest time. You don't have the problem came from the fact that the
People
problem wasn't
throw
that they,
stuff. Is
no,
it?
no. The problem wasn't that they don't have alcohol. The problem is that Qatar did a U-turn at the last moment. So they had said that there will be alcohol. And then 2 days before the World Cup started, they randomly said that we're going to stop it. So that basically 2 days before meant that everyone had already booked their tickets. And secondly, it meant that the sponsors couldn't do anything even if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So Budweiser was one of the big people who was part of this, and they were just left.
Isn't this like a breach of contract for some people?
It is, but exactly now, what are you going to do? It's a lot of these negotiations and things are essentially just very elaborate and very they are bluffs of scale.
It's a great term.
That's what it is.
So one question is, how do we not get influenced by the smart people's opinion and have your own original thought?
That's a very good question, and it's a very difficult question to answer, to be honest.
But is any thought original anyway? You should start from there.
No, it's not. It's not. Your whole personality, everything is a composition of inherited ideas and opinions and ways of living. But how do you not get influenced? I don't know, man, because I think I've been very influenced by everyone that came before me. And I think one of the things that you can do, which I found helpful, is actually engage with opposite points of view. Because it's a lot like, it's the intellectual version of traveling, where if you do travel right, what you're essentially doing is that you're coming across ways of living, culture and thought which is alien, opposite or different from you. And so then you can find out whether you how strong your beliefs are, whether you want to hold on to them or whether you want to adopt, or whether someone else has a better opinion. So you'll constantly be testing yourself, and that's what it means to find yourself, to be honest. And when you also come across opinions that are different to yours, you will also find out what you viscerally feel about those things. So whether you believe them, not believe them, do you like them, not like them, and that's what it comes down to.
So many thinkers, they say that ultimately the only principle left is the golden principle, which is do unto others what you would have them do unto you. So you can flirt with any ideology, but at the end, the golden standard should be this, that you treat them the way you would expect them to treat you. So,
in fact, Punit, the someone had refined this to make it the silver theory.
What is that?
Which is, do not do unto others what you would not want done to you. The reason being, because you might want bondage, but someone might not want it.
Oh, this is a woke retelling of the principle.
So don't do unto others what you would not want done to you.
Yeah, I think that's a decent answer for Ishan Patel. Shubhankar is asking Punit sir and Kautuk. Punit sir and Kautuk.
I have not been granted knighthood.
What are the biggest ironies of life? A very general but still interesting question.
Very interesting question. I mean,
I think the biggest irony is that everybody knows they're going to die, but they still live like they're going to be around forever.
Yeah, that would be a big one.
Isn't that a big one?
Yeah, I would say, and a lot of ironies then are subsets of that. Like, for example, people want to live longer, but the longer you live, the worse life gets.
There's a line of modernity's dual curse is to both make you live longer and make you age faster at the same time. When you are woke but still vote for BJP. There's a lot of that. Like I've been meeting a lot of people who come for shows and all. Also, they are right wing, if you can call it that, but they still come for shows and they follow my work. But vote to wahin pe jayega, aisa. Which is fine, I guess. At least they're listening and they're coming.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think that's the thing, right? Like at the end of the day, as a like, there is one part of you which is the political being, but then there is one part of you that is the artist, and the artist does not, or the artist basically sees politics as part of a larger makeup of the person, and if you can appeal to any part of them, that's great. It doesn't really matter.
But even there, I see even those people shifting with time, because the narrative is such a huge
It's
mismatch.
a tsunami.
Yes, tsunami. The tsunami. That's the right
It's going
word.
to sweep everything away.
Yeah. Original thought is like the ship of Theseus. That's a great analogy. Yeah. Weber is saying wise.
Also, sorry, one other thing, Punit, talking about the ironies of life, we're talking about. One of the ironies in life is the better you get at something, the more you doubt yourself in it.
That's a good one.
Ironically, you always have more confidence when you have less knowledge, because you're not caught up in technique, craft, etc., etc. Full vibes.
You saw that passage that Manu Joseph shared, the last one that he shared. That is always the people with the half knowledge who become more popular, because they have a lot of enthusiasm, but not really hardcore knowledge. And the academics always hate these people because they're the people who popularize a certain part of whatever topic. And the conspiracy theorists,
fools rush in where angels fear to die.
Exactly. Like the flat earthers and all the alien conspiracy and the ancient civilization bullshit, dude.
But you know something. But the thing is that their biggest enemy is time. Their biggest enemy is time, because what eventually happens is that, given enough time, things that have sturdiness to them, they survive. That they have some kind of structural integrity.
There's a Lindy effect that Taleb talks about, if you read that.
No, I have not.
Okay, but yes,
so
go on.
Yeah, but essentially what tends to happen is that people who are a little careful with what they're doing, they are building something that can withstand the buffeting of time, and the eventually that kind of makes it further.
But it won't get views right now. That's
the trouble is that life is too short to see to see that stuff through.
Sumit Anand has this great joke where he says that the problem with humanity is that it takes 30-40 years at least to become wise, but then you die. And the new person comes with zero knowledge and you have to tell him from scratch. And I'd heard this joke years ago, but now he's got a new version of it in the new video that is put out, and it's a great joke. And he said that I want to see a baby who is melancholic. Like, no, he just born saying, "Tum log kya kar rahe ho?" But no, same enthusiasm. Papa ye kya hai? Papa wo kya hai?
Yeah,
I was the same.
I was thinking of that. I was thinking of that in I was thinking about it like this the other day. I had this thought key. The problem with life is that it feels like you're studying for the exam while you're giving the exam. So whatever you learn, you have to apply. Like, you're doing it on the fly and you're figuring it out, right? And the craziest part is that no one's even telling you whether you've written the right answer.
So to quote Punit sir himself, life is an open book exam. Disappointment if you fail, guilt if you pass.
But the thing is, open book would still imply that there is a book to read from.
And a book is beer biceps, dude. And Uncle Variko. System has been asking this, I think. was Osho just a Sadguru of his time? Like, or is there a difference between the two? I don't know if you're familiar enough with both of their works, but
I have read little of Osho, and I've seen some viral videos of Sadhguru. So that I don't think I'm very qualified for this.
So I read, I mean, quite a, maybe not as much as Kamra has heard, because he doesn't read, he just listens to audio. But I'm not like a fan like how Kamra is, because that is the whole point, no, of spirituality, is that you don't revere anybody. Like,
Yeah.
you get it. So a lot of what Guru said, no, verbatim is the same as what Osho said.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, no, down to the exact sentences also. But now the thing is, like what we discussed earlier, that no thought is original. Even Osho got what he did from reading, no, and he had read a lot of books. Like, do you know Osho has 3 volumes on Pythagoras, dude? Pythagoras, the philosopher, like not Pythagoras, the mathematician. So apparently Pythagoras was also a very renowned philosopher in general. उसके ऊपर उसका 3 volume है. So the man read everything there was to read, practically everything. And from that, no, I guess he's also a creative person. No, that emerged what looked like a unique voice. And it was unique, but again, it's all derived, no, in the end. Like he would talk about, no, human race should now go to the next level of being like, no, more evolved race. But then Nietzsche already said that, no, he said superhuman, like the century before that. So, and a lot of Sadhguru, what he says seems like, no, verbatim same as what. So Osho had a very popular book called "मैं मृत्यु सिखाता हूँ," like I teach death. A book about death and how to plan your own death and how to remind yourself of your death. So kind of like stoicism, kind of.
Memento Mori or whatever.
हाँ. And Sadhguru also has a book called Death. सिर्फ ये है कि उसमें वो रिचुअल का भी बात करता है कि what do Hindu rituals mean about, no, which are surrounding death, and no, what is the meaning. तो similarities बहुत है, but the thing is, I don't know, dude. Like the thing is, in the end, Osho also tried to replicate what his ideas were in the real world, and that's where things fall apart. No, you can keep on preaching, but when the day you try to make your ideas come true on the ground, no, all shit hits the fan. Basically, it's like it's a utopian vision. The moment utopia meets contractors, no, it's.
So I had this joke, which was that philosophy is the classic old Lata Mangeshkar song, and spirituality is the remix with Badshah singing in it. Right. So
it's your boy. It's your boy.
It's a boy, Badshah. So now, like one way of looking at it is that you could look at some of the thinkers in 2 categories. One is that you could say that did they have something new to give? And the second is, were they able to communicate stuff? Because I like the way that you can look at kings in 2 ways. Were they conquerors or were they administrators? Right. So almost no king is both. Almost no king. Like there's maybe 1 or 2. Right. And those people are called the great. So which is why you can say that were they looking for new stuff, or were they trying to communicate old stuff? And I think Osho did the second part really well. Like I think he communicated excellently. Sadhguru does the same thing. You need to communicate it, because the crazy thing is, like the memory for good advice is very small. You will always remember trauma more than you will remember anything good that happened to you, right? So you need constant reminding, ironically enough. And you would imagine that the greatest, best things in life would always stick with you, but they don't. And for that reason, like the communicators are very important to a lot of people. Like it's very, very important. So even if you don't have like that searing new insight, which everyone is looking for, which everyone is after, which everyone, like, it just, once you hear it, your life, the perspective changes. Maybe that's not true for people who've read beyond them, but that is true for the people who've not read anything but them. So that insight is still new for them. So it's great.
So you're seeing there's always a market for dumber stuff. Is that what
always? And the thing is, You could, I mean, I think it would be slightly harsh to call it dumber stuff, but
Yeah.
but to be a popularizer is also a very important task.
To be the gateway drug, basically.
Yeah, because I think even a little bit of taste of that, and say out of the 100 people who watch it, if 10 people decide, hey, I want to read something that's more in this line, it's a huge service. And the fact that people don't have the time to like
Deep dive.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
like the people who are reading are almost always full-time artists.
तभी बुक का सेल नहीं होता है.
And everybody else is reading to either distract themselves or to learn something very specific in their field of life.
Yeah.
Right. So no one has the time to like the status games are so all consuming that you cannot, there is no point to, there is no time to question anything that's
वो
beyond.
अपने पास है वो luxury, सिर्फ luxury या curse जो भी बोल ले.
Yeah.
But then that way, even Baba Ramdev, you love him or hate him, he did a great job. No? He popularized yoga so much before even Modi came, right?
Yeah. I think yoga got one full. It's if he had if he had just been the yoga guy, he would have been a legendary yoga guy. I like, what I mean. Like there would be no other. Thing that you would attach to him, right? That would and like now there are so many things that you can hear him say on a daily basis that are just like, why would you just if you had just done the asan things, you would have been the best of all time.
I think soya bean becha uske baad khatam ho gaya.
Yeah.
That was the straw, I think, last straw, at least for me. I mean, and he himself would have at some point criticized soya and all of that. Abhi le liya usne. He's bought over Ruchi Soya, the biggest soya company in the country. Yeah. Ruchi Soya is now under Patanjali. So suddenly it will become Sattvic. Yeah. So Anurag Mathur is saying, indeed, it is Satsang time. Our numbers are small, but they are improving. And I think today we won't be able to get around to all the questions because Kautuk and I can keep talking till it becomes Punit and I from Siddhi and I. But Shirish, are you still there? Jamie, hello, come in. So,
yes, sir.
बताओ जरा 2-3 क्वेश्चन Q&A ने बोला था भाई लोग को, तो कुछ लोग वेट कर रहे हैं क्वेश्चंस का.
एक बंदा पूछ रहा है कि एंड्रू टेट हर जगह क्यों दिख रहा है उन्हें.
हाँ, अच्छा, बंदे का नाम भी बोल दो, that is also important, like chat
etiquette. Mehul.
Okay, why Andrew Tate everywhere? Dude, you know Andrew Tate, right? Yeah. He got banned from everywhere recently, so I think the moment you ban something, it becomes automatically more.
There's a thing called the Streisand effect. Where it's happening in Qatar also, the same thing, exact same thing, where the more you try to suppress something, the more popular it becomes. And dude, like it's so transparent that it's at this point it should be like people should be able to see through it, but no one does. Like the transparency of it is so clear. The fact that like what all you have to do in today's day and age is you have to realize that attention is equal to money. If you have people's attention, you have their money. Now the way to get people's attention is to say inflammatory shit, right? So here's how you do it. You say crazy things to get popular, and then you say normal things to get credible. That's it in a nutshell. So you'll see that across the board. People say crazy things, they become popular, then they say some normal things and they become credible, and then they've got both sides of the coin. And
because of
all you require is a lack of integrity. That's it. That's all you require.
There you go. Or you do utterly mediocre stuff with a frequency that is nauseating.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, consistency is going to trump over most things eventually, because like I have a feeling that art used to be initially as a way of instruction, then it became a way of entertainment. Now it's become a way of distraction. What will become next? who knows? But yeah,
Which
that's
is
what.
why I think as an artist, you should practice first for yourself. And then if the people respond, that's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you're
Absolutely.
just another hawker in the market.
Yeah, no, and I think the joy of it is that you are essentially taking time to answer questions that you are facing, right? Or that you
Yes.
find interesting and you're able to get into.
One question from system is India में सबसे must किधर गया? What is the best place in India you've been to?
Ladakh was fantastic.
Hmm. Hmm. I've also seen like a lot of India. Like I think I've seen almost every state except a few northeast states, and Kashmir I've never been. But Himachal, I think like all of
Himachal was
Himachal. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't pick one spot, but there's so much variety in Himachal. Like so Spiti within Himachal is like Ladakh, as good as Ladakh because the same geography
yeah.
in continuity, and different parts of Himachal are so different. And if I had to pick one, it's very difficult to pick one. People say I'm a beach person, I'm a mountain person. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. I like the variety of it, and the culture is so different everywhere. The sights, the smells, the food, the people. It's there's so much to see here that I think मेरे को वो भी I don't have a fascination of going out anymore. Foreign जाने का, ये देखने का, वो देखने का. इधर कितना सारा है यार to discover. If you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
get down to it, like we
Dude,
don't
yeah.
have walking tours like abroad everywhere. But for the person who wants to discover, there's so much to discover in India.
There's a lot.
And
the
just
thing
the
is,
food, dude, the food is so rich here. Like foreign में वही है, तुम पाव खाओ या केक खाओ. Either you look at the variety and the richness of the food also. So I had a show in Bangalore. Somebody was asking right now. I already addressed it in the beginning. The show went great. Thank you for your good wishes and your concern. The show was through the roof, and editing में time लगेगा, but once it comes out, I mean, it's to my satisfaction and beyond. It went very well. So Wakar had come with her. No, you're directing the whole thing. So I took him to a South Indian joint in the morning. वहाँ पे बहुत लाइन था क्योंकि वो बहुत पॉपुलर जॉइंट है इंदिरा नगर में. तो खाया, मजा आया. फिर डिनर टाइम आ गया. डिनर टाइम में भी वहीं पे गया सेम एरिया में. तो उधर तभी भी लाइन था रात को क्योंकि वो इतना पॉपुलर है. तो वकार बोलता है पूरा दिन खड़ा रहेगा काम किया, अभी बैठने का. मतलब ये पॉइंट अच्छा है. तो इवेंट टू द नेक्स्ट डोर रेस्टोरेंट. मतलब क्या है देखो यहाँ पे. तो वही था पनीनी, क्रोज़ॉन, sandwich, and it looked like it had been there for 2 days. So Waka bola, koi baat nahi, let's go have idli because it's just no comparison, dude.
there's no comparison.
It is just so fresh and so much healthier than in anything else.
Yeah, and also, but there is one thing, right? I want to know who created that standard, the standard Indian restaurant menu. You know what I'm talking about, right? You can envision it clearly in your head when it's spiral bound with that dirty plastic lamination.
Yeah.
Sagar fast food restaurant. Open it and it's the same menu. It's a replica of all the menus you find across the restaurants.
Yeah. It's
There's
everywhere.
Like 3 biryanis, 1 pulao, paneer lababdar, paneer this, paneer that, 1 chole, 1 aloo, 1 bhindi. How is it possible that everyone did the same thing? Crazy.
It's a best practice, which is being passed on, I think, from here to there.
Yeah, and I think time, that's this again what I mean by like time has eroded that menu to be perfect. पहले होगा चौली वौली सब हट गया रहेगा one by one.
Yeah, whatever is available cheaply that you'll have to eat. And if you're in Maharashtra, you will also have Tina's ginger lemon.
Yeah.
Special item. The drink looks like it's radioactive. Have you ever had it, dude?
Yeah, of course I have.
I mean, I wanted to have it to clear my bad throat, but I think it gave me a bad throat. It was that strong. Dude,
it burns your esophagus on the way down. It's one of those things that you can feel it reach your stomach.
Sid is asking, Punit, would you suggest someone who wants to travel but doesn't know where to and how to? You met people like that who want to travel or they think they want to travel, but then they've never had, I don't know, either the company or the courage, you would say, or the gumption rather to start. Do you look forward to traveling? Not so much, I think. Right?
No,
you're more of a homebody.
I really like traveling. The trouble is that when we travel for stand-up, I don't like to step out because it drains like
Yeah,
like it drains my energy, and then I need everything I need to perform.
on stage.
So
Yeah.
so then it becomes a little tedious, because then you're literally going from your house to a plane to a taxi to the hotel to the venue to the taxi to the plane to the, so it's a very like, then it's a pointless difficult
Exercise.
like,
Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
if you're traveling for fun, it's a phenomenal, like I love doing it, like
I do
it's the most
manage to
exciting part.
squeeze in like a lot of stuff with when I travel, because I'll go a day earlier or the next day flight. I'll take like a later flight, and I do all of that. But I get it. Like वो show के दिन पे मुश्किल होता है.
बहुत मुश्किल है, बहुत मुश्किल
Yeah.
है.
There's a question that has come in for you, I think. Ashish Chaudhary said, director of Hereditary, said, I wanted to make a family drama, but nobody gave me money. So I made a horror film instead with the same message. Do you feel the use of comedy the same way to address what bothers you?
100%.
Yeah.
There's a very similar question right after that by Raj Shah, who says, what's the connection between comedy and horror? And we'll come to that also. But the first one, do you do that, Punit? Like, do you? I think that your whole act is that. Your whole act is that.
So in fact, I have a bit on horror films where I say that I don't watch horror because society is horror enough already. You don't need more of it. If you keep your eyes open, it's all around you.
Yeah, no, I think like what horror and comedy do well is that horror is a physical manifestation of unpleasant feelings. So which is why horror exists on a spectrum of everything. So people believe that it's just, the ghosts and monsters and stuff like that, but that's not true. Horror exists on a spectrum from sadness and grief to horror and terror. So every unpleasant emotion that you can, and that includes unpleasant in the sense that it includes jealousy, inferiority, all of those small unpleasant emotions. If you can manifest them in a physical ghoul, ghost, being, witch, whatever, right? You've done your, like, that's what horror is. It's a physical creation of an unwanted feeling.
Is it a catharsis of sort then?
Yeah, and so what you're essentially doing is, in a very metaphoric way, you're confronting your fears literally face to face, confronting them, right? So, and then you're hopefully overpowering them. So, and if you don't, then metaphorically the monster consumes you. So, like think of the story of the werewolf, like Bhedia is just released, right? Think of the story of the werewolf. You could argue that the werewolf is a guy got bit by a wolf and he transforms himself and he loses his mind. You could also look at it from one perspective as people who binge drink one day of the month. They transform into something that they are not in the night, and they do shit that they can't remember, right? So it's an interesting metaphor, right? So comedy does very, very similar things, where it takes like an unpleasant thing and then it makes it fun, gets a very clear reaction from an audience, right? So they have a very similar purpose in that sense. And comedy and horror, only two genres of work that live or die basis what they make people do. So like a drama, you can just sit and watch it without any
specific reaction.
But if you've not laughed during a comedy, and if you've not been scared during a thing, then the work has failed. They both work on the principle of uncertainty, of surprise, right? Like a jump scare is a surprise, and a punchline is a surprise,
and exaggeration also in both.
And exaggeration.
They're
very similar, I would say.
Mayur Sawale is asking your take on the Morbi incident and the political status of Gujarat. The bridge that collapsed, just 2 days था वो news में, फिर चला गया. And the guy who was in charge also has not been caught. I think he's absconding or something. And they put like the ticket checker and the peons and all in jail. And now it's over. It has gone past the apathy test. No, I call it the 1 week apathy test. No, maximum 1 week you get attention, then it's gone. There are elections in December in Gujarat, and claims to be a good, decent competition, but BJP like, nahi, ye to hai hi nahi. And we are going to walk through. So I lived in Gujarat for 2 years. I speak fluent Gujarati, and so I mean, knowing the language is not enough, obviously, but I have friends, and I think वो connection बहुत visceral है ना, because Mota Bhai is from Gujarat, and he was chief minister. वो it still helps. I think it does.
Yeah,
We,
speaking the language is such a big thing.
Yeah. And no matter how much people say that Gujaratis are like discerning or business-like or objective when it comes to their own benefit, and if they think the government is not performing, they will throw them out. But then you keep hearing conflicting stuff. You hear that Gujarat mein development bahut ho gaya hai, which even I've seen. I've been there, like into the other cities also. And some people say unemployment bahut zyada hai, महंगाई बढ़ गया है. So it's so difficult to do no for sure anymore. Anything.
Yeah.
Like just watching on your screen. तो मुश्किल है, बट वो तो क्लियर था कि केजरीवाल कमिंग इन एंड टॉकिंग इन हिंदी इज नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क. मुश्किल है. Easier than southern states, क्योंकि southern state में फिर हिंदी इतना फ्लुएंट नहीं है. गुजरात में the advantage is they all speak Hindi fluently, so they have an entry point at least, but beyond that, unless there's huge anti-incumbency, I don't think कुछ भी होएगा. वाह, difficult. And
like you could draw a parallel between say for example West Bengal also, like the BJP sent everyone, all the star campaigners, but like maybe you could make the thing that Mamta Didi knows Bengal, speaks Bengali, all of that, and it makes a difference.
Yeah. And when I was there, like now a decade back, and like colleagues who I used to work, people I used to know and all who are in corporate jobs and all, they would tell you unabashedly, 2002 was great. No, it was important to teach them a lesson. So if that is the basis or a big part of the support, that's not going to go away. No? They're like, अच्छा किया, जो भी किया, no, in the riots they mean. And so if that is the claim to fame, तो फिर केजरीवाल क्या ही कर पाएगा? Were a lot of great questions in the chat, Kautuk. Whenever you come, you see the level of discourse is quite refined. So we already passed I think almost the 2-hour stage. We're gonna wrap up very soon. So if we missed any of your questions, if you could be kind enough to just paste them again in the chat so I can see them, because I'm not able to scroll too much above. Okay, Gandalf is asking, third time he's asking, what are some of the things that the left wing does which are stupid or silly? Good question.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same stuff that you would see in the right, where like anything fundamentalist becomes, I mean, you have to treat every incident with its own context and things. And if you look at anything from just like one point of view, it's going to be a little distorted. So I think that's one big one.
Any examples specifically from India that you would have noticed? One common complaint from people on the right is that they always treat the minorities with kid gloves even when they've done some heinous crime. And they'll be the first to say कि terrorist का धर्म नहीं होता है वगैरह वगैरह, whereas they are saying you should call it out. So I don't know if that's silly or not.
Yeah. What else?
On the hijab controversy, dude. Like there was this question that or liberal people always keep saying that women should be given equal rights, and they all of modernity's benefits should come to women. But now in this case, you're fighting for the right to keep wearing a hijab, which is a sign of patriarchy. To which the response was that it is her choice. Here she wants to wear it, and in Iran and Iraq, they don't want to wear it. So it should be what the women want, not what the men want them to wear or not wear. So,
yeah, I mean, eventually, like the thing is that one of the worst things that you can level against the left for sure is hypocrisy. But if that's the worst thing, then that's still all right. But yeah, but there is one other thing, which is that there is like, just because like the way that critical thinking works, it tends to question everything about history, tradition, and culture. Some of it rightly, some of it a little egregiously. So dismissing history, culture, and tradition,
Lock, stock, and barrel, like throwing
yeah,
out the
lock,
baby
stock,
with the
and barrel is
bathwater.
always going to be like
Hmm.
stupid. Like, it's going to be a silly idea. Like, you have to look at that also in context and be like, look, it matters to people, and not all of it may be like
Bullshit. Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah.
Mr. Ahir has quoted Bukowski. He said the difference between a democracy and a dictatorship is that in a democracy you vote first and take orders later. In dictatorship, you don't have to waste your time voting.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Zaid Patel is asking how to criticize Islamic ideas without adding to bigotry. A very good question.
Very deep question.
So this stems from that fact, no, where even if you try to be as constructive in your criticism, people say it is Islamophobic.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very difficult thin line.
Yeah. Because we saw all these right wing memes today, and overwhelming number is just that, no, like stereotyping Muslim people. And I mean, it is funny only in a childish sense of how memes are funny, but then you can see how it can also be used insidiously. You know, like
Yeah.
there are two examples. One is that you keep seeing this meme that no, they are allowed 4 wives, 5 wives, jo bhi hai, right? And there are all jokes around that. But there is a survey which is a normal population survey which says that there actually polygamy is more common amongst other communities, smaller communities, but it is more common, like just percentage wise. And another stereotype is that like I getting at okay, just slipped my mind. Oh yeah, this one. No, that they can marry their cousins. Okay. But apparently, marrying your cousin is a very common practice in a lot of South Indian regions, where especially the your daughter marrying her mama is a accepted practice. There's a name, there's a term for it. To the point where there are some films depicting this also. Like there are like sort of romantic songs between the mama and the niece, apparently.
Wow.
So, but this is never talked about. No, the stereotype continues against like one community. So that is the challenge of it. You treat minorities with maybe kid gloves, but then Taleb has another point of view. He said that minorities, by being intolerant, they gain foothold till they dictate terms to everybody. So, and he has a mathematical model to back it up. So,
yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, like, most people are not going to voice opinions because most people are so concerned with just like living their own life, and they're not going to really get into it, because to voice your opinion is to get into get into the ring. Not many people want to do it, which is why it remains the
domain of politicians largely.
Yeah, and exactly, and people who are willing to fight, and if they are willing to fight, then you need opponents. So
yeah, you create if you don't have any.
Yeah.
The question for you, dude, system is asking Kautuk, Damer dekha kya hai? What is this? DAHMER?
This is a this is a true crime show on Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dahmer, okay, that's the pronunciation. Okay.
Yeah, he was infamous serial killer and cannibal. So they basically, Netflix made a fiction 10-part series on Jeffrey Dahmer. I didn't see it. Like I do consume more true crime than I should, but I haven't seen this.
Some people I heard are saying, is it true that women watch more of this crime shit on?
Yeah.
Like, why is that? Is it like an overcompensation for not being able to do it themselves in the real world?
No. I suspect, I mean, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of like theories on it. But I think that disproportionately they're more like with serial killers and all these people, right? Like the targets are mostly women. So there is some, some people watch it to know what you would do in that situation, to know
Really?
what
It's like it's a practical reason to it.
not just, I mean, there is or the other thing is that you can empathize more clearly with the victims of these true crime events, right? Like it's not just like it's a very visceral experience, and at the end of the day, these stories are stories of people and circumstances and how that unfolds, and it's a very, I don't know, like my fascination with it, like, I mean,
I think your thing comes from like it being horror. No, it is like real life horror. That's your fascination, isn't it?
yeah, part of it is that, like, there is a fascination with the morbid, right? So which is never going to, like, like, I have a joke about this, the fact that like us, like today in 2022, people listening to true crime podcasts and going to sleep, it's pretty weird, but it's nothing new in the sense that, like, in the 1700s in France, they had the guillotine, and it was the Lollapalooza of its time.
Yeah,
Where people would be like, let's go watch the beheading today. So
yeah. In fact, I heard this very fascinating discussion on insanity and how gifted people tend to be insane. So this was a reaction to the Kanye West infamous now podcast with Lex Friedman. You saw that
oh
one,
yeah,
right? Where
I saw
we
part
had,
of it.
yeah, very clearly looks disturbed. Right?
Yeah.
So the another podcaster who was taking another guy's opinion on it, and he said, like, example was of Newton. So another great point. He said that nowadays in the social world, like social media world, celebrity may be good at one or two things, but his opinion on every subject is out there and is being scrutinized.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but Newton was brilliant, but he was also a very weird man. He probably died a virgin. He was very antisocial. He was completely bonkers and depressed throughout his life. He was very what is the word for it? He was very conscious, rather, or very insecure about his place in the scientific world. And he used to go and watch public executions for fun. One of the things. There you go.
There you go.
He said, but now if Newton was here today in today's world and people knew these things about him, he would get cancelled. No?
Yeah, that's right. Like there is one, what is it? There is one bias. It's called halo effect. Halo effect is where people assume that because you're good at one thing, you'll be good at everything. Which is why when the budget comes out, they ask some random actor, what do you think?
Yeah. And even Van Gogh would have been Me Too, right? Because वो कान काट के भेजा था किसी को तो.
Yeah, like it's an interesting time where I was, what was I thinking about? It's like recently only I was like, the trouble is that, like, like we were talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? It's not enough to be good at something. You also have to be a well-rounded personality today, right? So you can't just be one, like exactly what you were saying. It's very difficult to be just one crazy person because you're so overexposed. Dude,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this in terms of podcasts. You can now hear every great person you've ever admired just be banal for 2 hours straight.
Including us.
Yeah.
Prachi is saying in the comments, Prachi is an educator and she's been to quite a few of my shows. She says, yes, more women watch crime shows as against that. I don't know, this trailed off. She says, why is it there are almost no women in lives like this, like this stream right now? And Punit's show has women, but rarely any of it live or is it?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
That is a very great question.
But dude, mera yahi hai, and I addressed this in the last set that I put out. No, this actually happened. Like, no, a lady was asked me, yeah, your content is very sensitive then compared to the standard comic. Then how come there are no like fewer women in your show? And I said maybe philosophy, the way we view it, is a very male pursuit. Like, because throughout the ages, all philosophers have been men, no, because women didn't have access even back then. And maybe what we are doing all this masturbation, intellectual masturbation, is just largely appealing to men only. Like we are Andrew Tate light.
Yeah, and maybe they're just watching true crime shows, man. Who knows? Maybe we're just not entertaining enough.
Not entertaining enough. और क्या है? एक मिनट. Yeah, Ashish is saying influencers sold Bitcoin when it was 61K. Now it is 16K. They never disclosed their stake. When people get influenced without understanding, can we only blame the influencer? Yeah, great question.
That's a great question. Dude, I've been very invested in this FTX house of cards that happened. I mean, like I watched one video about it and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. What is this? This is madness on a scale that we haven't, like on a, not just a scale, but like just the way it, you know what this guy was? He was like a 20 something guy who used to wear like t-shirts and shorts, and he walked into every major venture capital firm and walked out with money because people trusted him. No one did due diligence. In fact, someone had mentioned in the chat, and this is true, in one of the meetings with, I think, Sequoia, he was on the call, he's pitching the company to them, and he's playing League of Legends at the same time.
Wow.
And this was interpreted as him being a genius, as him being so knowledgeable that he doesn't care about this particular
stupidity. Yes, absolute stupidity.
So and so many people have gotten hoodwinked, so many, like, and they raise their profile so much by advertising, right?
Like Cred, dude. Cred, the product is nothing, and look at the noise, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of advertising. Look, so and it also came down to the fact that a lot of like influencers have whatever they've spoken about FTX and all so much that people have invested in it. Now, where does the buck stop? Now, people say, hey, look, it's not just influencers, it's also like mainstream celebrities who advertised for money in the traditional sense. Like if abhi Maggie mein कीड़ा निकला तो Amitabh Bachchan का fault नहीं है, right? Like that's what basically they're saying. So the only thing is, the difference is, if you're being an advertiser, be an advertiser. Disclose upfront that you're an advertiser. The problem is that people are watching financial influencers not as ads but as advice. So that's where it's very murky.
I had asked Prashasti this on Beyond the Laughs when she came, and I said ki, like, aap ad karte ho kafi, but do you have like any filter or something? So she said ki, I feel that people are smart enough to make the choices, so I will advertise cola also, because people know that cola is not good for health, and let them decide, but I can do the ad. So that sort of state of mind, which I don't know, I'm in a different, I mean, I disagree there. I feel there's some responsibility as an artist, but theek hai. I mean, capitalism, everything goes,
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, there are certain things that I would, and even if chalo, like, I think your responsibility also extends a little bit to giving a disclaimer at least, where like, look, I'm advertising this, but you be careful when you do this thing because it's blah blah.
वो allow नहीं करेगा ना वो लोग, or unless it is a statutory requirement.
Yeah.
Especially on social media, there is no such statutory requirement. Dude, fucking selling alcohol is being sold क्योंकि उसका rule नहीं है शायद. You can sell alcohol on social media apparently. तो ये comics have done it, dude. Direct दारू बेच रहे.
Yeah, like the thing is exactly like, now I think it also comes down to what your personal thing is. Like I would happily talk about a gin I like, right? Because I like gin, and I'm assuming that people who watch me have some this thing. But like, yeah, I mean, it's a murky thing. But I'm assuming that people aren't coming to my thing for and I'm hoping that the gin bubble doesn't burst in some way.
Gin bubble. So there is a question for me. I had put out a tweet yesterday where I put a screenshot of Ravish ka YouTube page. He has a channel now on YouTube. So official channel जिसपे 6-7 लाख आ गया सब्सक्राइबर, व्यूज भी अच्छा आ रहा है, and he's just putting random vlogs from like New York he had been for whatever reason. तो वहां पे like talking to the driver and this guy is very eloquent guy and you want to listen to him, so it's not bad content, but it's kind of sad to see him going from like the best news show, the most researched thorough editorial to this. उसमें एक वीडियो है कि भोजपुरी कमेंट्री इन न्यूयॉर्क. So he's in New York and describing everything in like Thet Bhojpuri. So I just quoted one of my lines saying that you either die a hero or you live long enough to become a content creator yourself. So he's asking me why that tweet, because it just made sense. No, I'm not criticizing Ravi. I'm just telling you that this is the truth of this era. Everybody has to toe the line, otherwise you will not get heard only. No.
By the way, guys, at some point, I promise you, like we're all going to be doing it. Like what Punit is saying is, I don't think it's a value judgment on people. It's a value judgment on the circumstances.
The world we live. It's an observation. Like, some people got like sad कि रवीश पे troll क्यों करा? Troll नहीं करा. It's an observation. And it's also, kind of sad because obviously Adani had not taken over. He wouldn't be doing this. He was too busy in his show. He told in one of the interviews that he works 8 hours every day from morning till evening to get to prime time. Because he writes 40 pages a day. बता कभी-कभी उंगली दुख जाता लिखते.
Who was saying this?
Ravish was telling.
Ravish.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a very big team, 2-3 लोग हैं, and he himself wants to be sure that every line he's saying can be verified. So it's a lot of work. बोलता है, if I was like another anchor, who was just calling 2-3 guests, letting them fight like a cockfight, I would need no homework. I would just wash my face and come on live, and I got a great show. It's kind of like doing a meticulous tight set versus crowd work.
Yeah, no, it was that's true. Like also like just seeing some of his stuff, it was also the tone of the movie, right? It was entertaining. It wasn't just drab. It was like he had a perspective.
It was satire, pure satire, dude.
It was satire, and that makes sense. It completely makes sense that it takes 8 hours a day to get to that. That would make complete sense.
Gandalf is saying in response to what I said, becoming responsible about everything makes you think that you have higher moral standards than others, and thus you are superior to others. You end up becoming a resentful narcissist. I did not know this was a separate category that I had to sign up for, but resentful narcissist. Are there narcissists who are not resentful? I guess, yeah, they're better at being narcissists because they're not resentful.
Yeah.
It's confusing. But anyway, I get the drift that no, responsible ज़्यादा नहीं बनने का ऐसा, but I don't know. It's compulsive for me. It's like I never say that I'm taking a higher moral ground. I cannot do it. Like with a gun to my head, I cannot do a Mama Papa wala set. With a gun to my head, I cannot sell biryani. It's like that. A lot of people say the content you're doing, you're so brave, and I'm like, I'm not sure if it's brave. It's just that it is me, and I can't do it any other way. So I think then the question of superiority does not arise because I'm just doing what I feel is right, or rather I'm doing what I can do. I cannot be any other way. Like, no, if God forbid I need money very badly for, I don't know, medical situation, I will sell my fucking house, but I will not sell biscuits. So
I think I would sell biscuits.
Biscuits?
I think I would sell biscuits. I think
digestive बेच सकता है, चल ठीक है. Oreo नहीं बेचेगा बेच.
I think it's I don't view it. I view it more as a way to continue doing. Like for me, it's an alternative to a worse fate.
Doing a job.
Yeah, having to then compromise in other places. I'm hoping that's.
I covered for that by simplifying my lifestyle so much that my needs are so limited that I can be this free.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it is your needs and lifestyle that enslave you.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's also not, it's become like part of who I am. Like, अभी शो था देहरादून में 2 हफ्ते पहले. तो देहरादून एयरपोर्ट इज अ वेरी स्मॉल एयरपोर्ट और वहाँ पे कुछ सर्विस है नहीं, टैक्सी लेना पड़ता है. टैक्सी कॉस्ट यू $1,500, $1,200 टू द टाउन, 30 किलोमीटर अवे. तो और कुछ गवर्नमेंट का सर्विस है नहीं वहां पे. So I asked the friend who had been there, or like a backpacker. He said, "You walk for 1 kilometer to the highway, hail a bus, fucking go in ST bus." Gaya mein. Cost me $35, dude.
Yeah.
And
No,
plus,
I get,
plus
I
the
get,
experience, plus the experience. But
I
it's
get it.
not for everybody. I get
It's
it,
not
not
for
for
everybody.
everybody. Yeah, but and so I was like, I had a
I'm on
lassi
your
pack.
side of that. Like I crave the experience of it more than anything else. Even the
Yeah,
inconvenience, to be honest. Like because
yeah.
that keeps
Yeah.
you. It sort of it almost makes it
Keeps.
more memorable.
I think it keeps you real. Comfort makes you weak. No.
Yeah. Shama says Kazu will sell Jawar puffs. That is absolutely true. It is 100% true.
Jawar puff just sounds
Listen,
so
dude,
sad.
I don't want to shield this on your channel, but I will, in a heartbeat, we ordered this thing called Prasuma butter chicken bao. Top
Okay.
class. I would happily shill for them. Happily. I need to send them a DM.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, sometimes you take it for granted. Like, we live in the age of consumption and production. But yet, there are so few products that you enjoy consuming. And when you come across them, god damn, you should speak about it from the rooftop so that we keep making it.
All right, we'll take the last few before we call it a night. There's some very good ones coming in. Subhankar is asking, what do you think of the manifestation of smart cities initiative across the country? You've seen this, right? Like all towns are
I've
smart
heard of
cities.
it, but
Yeah.
never come across a smart city yet.
I think it is like that I love Yerwada sign. Like, no, it's
It's good to know.
yeah. If you've seen enough of the world, you'll be like, "ये लोग चुटागिरी कर रहे हैं." But for people who, I don't know, have not seen the world enough, a good thing for them to feel like, yeah, अपना city भी कुछ कर रहा है. I guess good for morale. I don't know. Why not? A small town, if they feel that you're part of something bigger or a futuristic. But I don't know. Problem क्या है, सबके पीछे there's some contractor making like a killing at taxpayers' money. And he's always connected to the politicians. तो वो तो है ही back end में जो आपको कभी दिखे या ना दिखे वो होता ही रहता है. But I think not a bad initiative. Like, make the small towns feel better about themselves. No, because we dude in our lifetime we have seen India going from like a one city country to all cities doing well. No, like Mumbai was the only place at one point. No? And you saw it everywhere. Even in Mumbai, all the film stories used to be based in Mumbai. Right?
Yeah.
And when only like maybe 10-15 years back, like with movie like Delhi 6 and all, we started seeing stories being based.
No, I mean, stories were being told across. In fact, I would say that more stories were being told from all over the country earlier, where like because you were trying to represent the country, so you had
Gaon
like,
ka sab.
Yeah, like
but haven't you seen that Mumbai's gone down in terms of representation, even in stories and in art and stuff?
I feel like the representation of everyone except like like a well-to-do middle class and above, they've got representation in movies. Everyone else is struggling for it. Because like there was a time when, like, think of all the roles Amitabh Bachchan has done. Mostly like the movie was called Coolie. It was called like Kala Patthar. He was a
blue collar.
Yeah, there was a blue collar guy, right? Like that was his thing. Shah Rukh Khan onwards, we've all been like these
on to
so
more brand integration.
Gap pennega.
Yeah. Things you own end up owning you. Quote from Fight Club by Ashish Chaudhary.
Yes. Correct.
Is it hard for liberals to make money, and why? What a question.
I think the way to look at it is that businessmen are better served. If you're in business, you're better served not having any kind of alignment to anything except profit.
Yeah.
Right? Your alignment is to profit. So then you go wherever, whatever.
It is beyond liberal or conservative.
Yeah. So which is why if you're hardcore, like this is all I want to do, it's difficult to make money on either end of any spectrum, unless you're like, the only way to truly make money is to be agnostic to morality. But it's not, I don't think it's true that it's specifically liberals who don't make money.
Yeah.
I think it's all sorts of.
KKR is asking me, Bhau, how you avoided yourself to be typical Sindhi Seth.
Great.
We were never into business to begin with. I come from a family of teachers. In fact, I am in many ways a first generation entrepreneur, if you can call it that. So, and also we are a partition family. So we started from scratch, which is what a lot of Sindhis did, and they became businessmen anyway. So it's just like it's my family too. This is where I come from. Business was never there in our blood. Like in fact, we don't even invest because we feel कि stocks और जुआ एक ही होता है. तो वो mindset ही नहीं है. So and then maybe that's why I have an academic bent, and you see it in my comedy also. But that is the answer. Some things you inherit and you can't change, and I'm okay with it. You accept it and you make the best of it. One question was, Kautuk, that is life as a freelancer easier than being an employee in a company? And why is corporate always represented as this very negative thing everywhere in popular culture also?
That's a very good question. And I think the answer is not as simple as that. I think freelance is great if you already have some kind of money backing, all of that stuff. Otherwise, it's a fight for survival every single day. Because the nature of freelance is that it's a feast and fast lifestyle, where 3 months you'll feast and then 6 months you'll fast, and then 3 months again you'll feast. So it's not as simple, and it's very uncertain, and it's very it's mentally very taxing, as opposed to being an employee where there is so much certainty, safety, predictability. It's refreshing for the human soul. Like you cannot if
refreshing for the human soul. Because in just to add in the same context, he's saying that Taleb saying that employees are modern day slaves. No, like in that context, that Patel is saying.
So I'll tell you where I'm coming from. So I have been a freelancer all my life.
Yeah.
Siddhi has worked all her life. So she's chosen specifically not to do freelance. And for her, so she faces that as an artist every single time, where every time she meets other artists, there's always this question that are you making the right decision by being in corporate?
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, there are compromises that you will have to make. And the compromises are that you will have to live by the routine dictated to you by the company. Right? That you will have to get up at a particular time and you'll have to do X amount of work and so on and so forth. That is non-negotiable. Sure. But I don't think that it's as black and white as saying that freelance good or art creativity good and corporate good.
Yeah.
I think there is a big range of possibility within those two choices. And not everyone who's a freelance artist is doing justice to their time.
Not at all. They're scrolling Instagram all day, like you only.
Yeah, so you may as well then fucking do a job and be more productive in life. So
a friend told me that corporate jobs are actually really meant for people who do not have a personality. The more stronger your personality, the more difficult it will become to blend into the system.
That's also true.
After you reach a certain level of consciousness, then just every fiber of your being will reject being that slave. I mean, a slave is thoda zyada ho gaya, but so there was a series of movies called The Zeitgeist about 8-10 years back. There was a 3-part series, and it became very popular at that time. So usme it said that corporate jobs are modern day slavery, but they are worse because at least in olden days they would give you food and shelter. Now you have to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, the answer to your thing will first come from knowing who you are, right?
Knowing then how will you?
Because if you crave a little bit of certainty and a little bit of safety and all of that stuff, then can do a job, and there's a lot of good jobs out there in the world. It's not that,
Yeah.
there's a
And one other thing, dude, besides the freedom and the money part of it, I realized was when I left the job, when I started Chalta Hai, which is a business or a startup, if you want to call it that. What I realized is that every decision you take in running that enterprise is a potential ethical dilemma. What happens is when you work in a corporate, no, you have the company policy as Bible. So you may have done the worst of things from a society point of view, but with the policy as your force field. So it's like anything you can do. No, the policy makes you do things with the gun on your shoulder, basically. But when you become your own boss, dude, so something as simple as how much cut to give to the comics, right? Remember in the beginning there were no rules. We made all the rules, right? And then when to give the payment on time, a little bit delayed. All of it is it's an ethical question. I have the money, why don't I give it to the artist right away?
Yeah.
Something as simple as that. Or how much to tell the venue, and like every small step for me, at least it became a difficult question. It was an ethical question in my mind. But a company just irons all of that out for you. So you can work on autopilot to a large extent.
Yeah. And here's another thing. So about the freelance lifestyle, which is that if you're an artist or a freelancer of any kind, chances are you will be working harder than the employee if you're doing your job right.
Yeah.
Like you'll be working far harder. It is more all consuming. It is more difficult. It is you are on the clock 24/7. There are no breaks. There are no Sundays. You cannot organize your life in any meaningful way if you are an artist.
So, it's also because you like your work so much. No? So then, it doesn't feel like work to you.
I know I'm saying like if you're looking at it from the perspective of, is it easier or harder? It is not easier. Like, like the popular perception that we are free spirits who just sit in a valley and sit on a mountain overlooking a valley while one bird is flying above us and we are writing poetry. That's not it at all, man. Most of the time you are
following up for payments.
You are frustrated by your lack of progress in your work, in your in the new stuff that you want to do. You're reading because you don't know enough. It's a whole thing, man. So it's much it's not easy. It's not as easy as it's made out to be, essentially.
One question from Sid is for me: how do I differentiate Chalta Hai comedy from a corporate? Would you call us a corporate? Would you work with us so much from the very beginning?
You're not a corporate. You're a cooperative.
The first difference is that corporate at its very heart is for profit, and we are not for profit. Not that we are an NGO of any sort, but my philosophy is of survival. So, to quote a great man, that in a world full of deceits, simply existing is a revolutionary act by itself. And that's how I approach comedy, that if you just get to do it for the longer time, you have succeeded. And if you make money still without deceiving anybody, bonus ticket. And we are still around. We took a big hit in the lockdown, but we are still operating because our overheads are low. We work to survive in comedy. We don't work to become bigger. We work to see when you go bigger. No, you have to hire more people first, and you have to deceive people. There is no other way to it. Would you have to sell some big idea which is not that big, and then it becomes the same routine. Office आया, public आया, late आया, policy बनाया, छुट्टा break लिया बीच में. I wanted to get out of all of that bullshit. That's why I came here. So I kept us as a boutique operation. Otherwise, I had so much opportunity over the years to become another big production company, right? I had all the contacts. I had all the time, but I chose not to do it because it was not fun also for me. So Chalta is about survival, not about profits. That's it. That's the basic difference in my mind.
I have worked with Punit from, I think, the first day that he started Chalta Hai. And for me, it's refreshing to work with a person who's just transparent. Here's the thing. So transparent plus accountable. You get one of the two usually.
What a great point.
so which is the thing, like I think, like, and Punit, I think they like Chaltai also understands one very fundamental thing about production, which is that production is about getting the thing done.
Yeah.
So the number one thing that production knows is that you can't say no. So if an artist needs something, you can't say, but per sir ye nahi hoega, to ye kuch aur hoega, right? Like, it's like, if you need it, and we'll figure out what we have to do to get it. And then if we still can't do it for whatever reason, then we'll give you an alternative. And I think that's the best thing that, like, that I've felt.
You can't say no in production. Once first to production, you cannot say no. Yeah. So you have to figure, and still, despite all of this, we keep fucking up in newer ways because there's so many things that can go wrong with the live show. Unimaginable.
The just the sheer range of possibility in fucking is so large that, of course,
7 years and I still get surprised, dude, by like random shit. All right, last question, or just a point. Weber is saying, is it true that the wise of every generation discover the same truth in the context of life over and over again?
Yeah.
That's true, right? Because the answers remain the same. Yeah. The questions, that's what the answers. Questions remain the same, right? And
yeah. Which is why it's so important to read. Because reading is the best books are the best simulations of life, and they kind of tell you that, okay, if you go down this path, here's what can happen, and you get to learn that without having to waste all that time doing those things. So if there is one medium that will do that for you, it is books.
Yeah, dude, I read Marcus Aurelius, right? That one book that is there, Meditations, which is not even a book, it was just a diary which got discovered, right? There are lines there which exactly are the lines that you and I say, or you heard someone say right now, or that you thought was your idea. And verbatim, it is there 2,500 years ago. Roman emperor has fucking written it, dude.
So you can imagine how redundant Twitter is. KR is asking, how was my Sevagram Bapu Ashram visit? It was very nice. I always like visiting such places because I like museums. And somebody has to talk about Bapu, in a non-violent way. I don't miss a chance to do it. I think it's a good point to wrap it up. Anything else, dude, you thought that we missed, or any loose ends to tie up? Oh, lots of things we've missed, but I think it'll take one full other stream to do it, and we will do it in one other full stream.
We will do it. We'll do a philosophical meme reacts at some point, and our long pending project of doing a series which is called Thought Bubble. Thought Bubble, if at all it happens. So, dude, this is my new channel right now. It is called Beyond the Laughs, and here I have given myself permission to fail. So because that pressure of the views and fucking up the stand-up.
Everywhere else we were failing without permission. That is the
Punit sir, have you visited your ancestral home? Dude, I cannot go back, dude. I'll be a security risk for everybody. I think that's about it. This is a good point to end on. We may have missed some questions, but maybe I'll get around to it next time because some of you are frequent flyers. You guys keep coming. Kautuk, anything you want to plug? Any upcoming shows of yours, or any video that you release?
No, nothing particularly. But in general, if you can find me on Instagram, please find me and drop me a DM. Just tell me if you've seen me from here. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, hey, that's a good point. Or should I just drop your link here?
Instagram
का डाल देना chat में.
एक second.
Till that time, I'm putting the link of my online show that I spoke about that's happening on Friday. It's called Gainfully Employed. Do come. Shubhanko say thank you, Guruji. Somebody asked, how do you have the stamina to talk for this long? Dude, हमारा पेशा है, ऐसी बात ही तो करना है. हम लोग अभी ये भी नहीं कर पाएंगे तो क्या करेगा? That's the one thing we do.
Yeah.
Oh, Zaki's new special is out.
Yes, tathastu.
Oh, wow. I wanted to see it. A lot of good things I heard about it. Cool. Send the link in the chat.
Oh, I know. I put it in your this.
In my एक minute.
ये chat में डाला है.
Yeah. So there's Kautuk on Instagram. He doesn't do dance reels yet, but
Yeah, but who's to
at
say?
the never say never.
Never say never.
So
It's just a matter of learning some steps.
yeah, so COWTUK, that is the handle. Drop him a hi in the DMs. And thank you guys for joining in. If you not till now, last thing, do like the stream if you haven't so far, and share it with other like-minded people who like long-form content, who are just lonely. And I'll maybe see you guys again tomorrow morning, the same channel. New episode of Beyond the Laughs with Nishan Suri gets dropped at 11 in the morning. I'll be there in the chat for the premiere. If you guys are free, if you're around, do come and say hi. Prachi is saying thank you, Punit and Kautuk. And Sirish, thank you,
Yes.
Prachi.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Sirish, for making this happen. He pushed me to do this live. Otherwise,
He's been phenomenal over the years.
Yeah, he's really blossomed into a great product manager. Who would have thought? Yeah, all right. Thank you, guys. Good night. This is us signing off. I mean, we'll have our own little podcast before we say good night, but आप लोग को अभी ये हो गया आज का कार्यक्रम संपला.